5 minutes to make a name for yourself like you never made before.
If he kicks this goal, Hawthorn are in the grand final. Oh, Jasonico, you're guilty. Here is the magician at work. He should kick it. Up he comes. He kicks on.
You've got to show me all the guts and all the determination you've got in your body. You've got to inspire me.
At least you can come off and say, I did this, or I played on. At least I did something.
Both teams are out on the ground early as round 10 continues today on 7, where Carlton takes on the West Coast Eagles. That's 4th versus 15th on the ladder, with the West Coast Eagles attempting to arrest what's become an alarming run of losses. And the Blues, well, they're trying to consolidate a position in the top 4. Hello and welcome around Australia, everybody, to Optus Oval. Joining me in commentary today is a man who graced this field with great distinction in the year of the dinosaur. Robbo, welcome.
Thanks for going back that far, Jared, but looking forward to it. I think it's a big ask, isn't it, for the West Coast Eagles? 5 losses in a row. To arrest that, they've got to try and beat the Blues on their own dunghill.
You saw them last week perform an act, I guess, fairly attributed to Houdini last week, when they trailed by some 35 points at half-time against the Kangaroos at the MCG.
I think one of the pleasing things here is that it's one of their players that has played quite enough football now to realise he belongs there, Darren Hume, just beating John Blakey and Shannon Watt. And eventually, what he's done is able to set up an opportunity. Kudafiti's good at the front of goals with Ratton finishing, but just the youngster presenting himself and showing marked improvement in his abilities, Darren Hume.
There he is, Darren Hume. As you said, Robbo, lacks the polish of some of the other midfielders in the Blues, but certainly has got plenty of aggression, and his form over recent weeks has been pretty good. But having a look at the lineup, no changes, but you've highlighted Porter, Manton, who plays his 150th, and Anthony Franchina.
Well, Porter in a losing side a couple of weeks ago I thought was best on the ground, but he's just there's a lot of responsibility with Allen out of the side. He's doing very well. Manton 150 has been mentioned. Terrific performance by Glenn Manton. And Franchina, I think he's a bit of an unsung hero, Jared, in this lineup. He gets a job with a run with player week after week.
Simon Beaumont's been one to step up for the Blues. Across that half-back line, he must be pressing for all Australian honours.
Well, he's done well. I think a couple of years ago against the Magpies, kicked something like 7 or 8 goals in half a game. But very good player and a lot of responsibility. What
do you make of the West Coast Eagles, Robbo? We know they've got a long injury list, but their run of outs is getting to the very, very disastrous stage.
Well, in the 9 matches, they've only been able to accumulate 700 points, which is only 80 points a game. This run of losses, the average for their 7 losses is nearly 10 goals, and that's very disconcerting. That you must be competitive, and that's the problem that they've got. Their longest losing sequence occurred way back in '89, just their 3rd season in the competition, equalled last year, and probably will be equalled again today, Gerard.
Well, maybe, Robbo, but trying to find some positives for the Eagles. It could well come in the form of Scott Cummings back in the side today. He has kicked 8 goals against the Blues on a prior occasion.
Well, he is a very good player, and if he's ready, I'm sure he'll be a great focal point. But they'll be looking at players the quality of Gardner, Peter Matera, Cousins, Jakovic, Wapunda, Cummings himself and Morrison. They've got a competitive lineup, but there's players like Embley, Fletcher, Jones and Williams, played a few games now, have got to stand up and be counted.
Well, there he is in a very different looking jumper. Let's hope that he can avoid the injury problems that have beset him this season. A different story for the West Coast. They have made 3 changes and 1 late one. Out go Cummings, Marinda. In comes Cummings, Marinda and David Haynes. And Banfield, Kemp and Richard Taylor are all out.
Well, they'll miss Richard Taylor's ball-getting ability. Gardner, I've been a bit of a rap for Michael Gardner. He's coming along quite nicely. Cousins, the captain, is an inspirational player, always there to try and lift the players around him. Andrew Embley, I mentioned, as a player now has played a bit of football, may get the job to run with Kuda.
And young Kerr, of course, has been one pressing for Rising Star honours. He's been one of the positives for the West Coast Eagles. Robbo, let's hope that he, along with the rest of the side, can really put it together so we get 4 competitive quarters. Join us after the break when Kevin Bartlett takes us to the start of the match.
World Cup qualifiers on Z7 Sports.
He scored!
In June 2002, Korea and Japan will host the World Cup finals. 32 teams battling for the ultimate prize in world football.
Round the back of the net.
Catch Group 3 action live Thursday morning when the Czech Republic will be out to make it 2 in a row against Northern Ireland. Who will earn the right to contest the World Cup finals?
And a goal!
World Cup qualifiers on Z7 Sport.
So, what is it about Katarina Stratford?
Would any of you be interested in dating Katarina Stratford?
Oh, I've never been that ripped.
And why are these guys so desperate to get her a date?
And what about him?
Don't look at him, okay? He's a criminal. I heard he lit a state trooper on fire. He just did a year in San Quentin.
Join Australia's own Heath Ledger
You're gonna pay me to take out some chick.
for 10 Things I Hate About You. Now showing on Movie 1.
He's the quickest gunfighter in all Mexico.
Hurry!
And in this lawless town, he's just what the people need.
It takes fire to fight fire.
But can a tin star
Yeah, how's it look? Mighty fine, Sheriff.
bring him what he needs?
Your gun has respect, not you.
Anthony Quinn is the man from Del Rio, now showing on Movie Greats.
Harvey Norman for 36 months interest-free terms. 36 months interest-free on furniture, bedding and bedroom furniture. 36 months interest-free on electrical items like fridges, freezers, TVs and stereos. 36 months interest-free on computers, printers, communication items and software. What a deal! 36 months interest-free. 36 months interest-free terms now at Harvey Norman. Minimum purchase $500, 1/3 deposit. Conditions apply. See store for details.
Go, Harvey, go, Harvey, go, go. Go, Harvey, go, Harvey Norman, go!
Live Thursday night at 7:30.
Oh, what about that?
Peter Donegan, Peter Dacos, Mark Harvey, with 90 minutes of must-see TV for every footy fan. They're challenging, probing, never afraid to confront the major issues. And along with Crackers Keenan, they get down and get personal, and sometimes even talk about the football. Keeping you in the picture. Footy Focus, live Thursday night at 7:30, C7 Sport.
Not far from the start of the game here at Optus Oval, but way back in 1996, round 5, it was Anthony Koutafidis that in this match stamped himself as one of the rising greats of the game. There he is, the big man. And as we welcome you, Kevin Bartlett, to the commentary position, who do you think will get the Greek goddess?
It's hard to say, isn't it?
Anthony Koutafidis.
It is very difficult to say. I don't know whether they've got anyone really to match up on Anthony Koutafidis. Maybe at some stage we may see an Embley or a Williams go on to him, maybe even a Colica.
Yep.
But I doubt whether they've got anyone who can actually physically match up with Anthony Koutafidis.
They're struggling the West Coast. I think that's as blunt as we can put it. How do you go into this match, KB, if you're the coach?
Well, I think they've still got some good players. When you look at their list there out on the field today, I mean, you can see there Peter Matera and Scotty Cummings. They're chatting with the players. He's having a few words to say. Glenn Jakovic and Morrison is there, and Braun. We know they're good players, and Wirapunda. So I think they've got to have some confidence in the way they're going to play and attack the ball, and go out there with the thought they're going to win the game, not try and save the game.
Got to get off to a good start, Robbo.
Oh, no doubt about that, and I'm sure that Ken Judge would have mentioned that during the pre-match warm-up. But the responsible players have just got to stand up, the players that have played a bit of football, because this is a fairly experienced lineup in the opposition, which is, of course, is Carlton.
Down on the boundary line, we can join the big fellow himself in Robert Dippy Domenico. And Dipper, great conditions today for a game of footy.
Yeah, it certainly is as far as ground conditions, Joe, but very windy down here as normal here at Optus Oval. And we're just to see how Troy Wilson and Scotty Cummings sort of play together there. Obviously, Scotty Cummings' first game. I think, as far as the West Coast is concerned, it's their best side they've had back on the ground now within the last 9 weeks. But look, Carlton is a terrific side at the moment. As you mentioned at the start, they're looking for the top 4 position. We're just to see who does pick up Koutafidis. But I can tell you on the bench, we have Mansfield, who played a terrific game last week for the Blues. Favola, Houlihan, and is it Dorian or Durian? Thank you.
That'll do.
That'll do it. And Travis Gaspar, Haynes, and Hunter will start on with Emberley on the bench for the West Coast Eagles, boys.
Looks like Chad Morrison picking up Anthony Koutafidis.
Well, the bounce of the ball, and we can see Miranda there just pushed off the ball. Porter, what a fantastic season he's had, and Hickmont drives the ball forward for the Blues. Harding should get there first. He's got the job today. Picking up Lappin. Great man himself. Jakovich comes away from half back. Just wobbles the ball forward. He was looking for Miranda. Couldn't take control. Silvani under pressure. Braun across half back. Finally, those dancing feet find him over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Silvani lining up on that full forward line, and Jakovich was his immediate opponent. And we look at the Eagles bench, young Travis Gaspar, Andrew Embley, David Haynes, his first gamer, and Adam Hunter.
I think it's important with Silvani on the forward line, which means that Manton now can go down back. Gives him a little bit more firepower up forward, as long as Glenn Manton can match him physically. He's not a very big man. Hickmont on screen is a very important player to Carlton.
It's Christou on Wilson and Manton on Cummings.
In many respects, Silvani has filled the role of Aaron Hamill last year, just taking that physical presence away from Lance Whitnell in the forward line.
A young Michael Gardner kicking into the middle, but one of the very reliable Blues defenders over many years now, Andrew McKay, kicks the ball forward to half forward, mark taken by Peter Matera. And isn't he a delight to watch? If he's fit, he's just one of the best players in the competition. He's been a tremendous player for the Eagles. Getting a little older now, but does a pretty good job. Ball with Williams, gives the hand pass away, goes back to Morrison. I just noticed before with a bit of research that Morrison 117 games now, so he is very much an experienced campaigner. Wirapunda, beautiful pass, wasn't it? Oh, there was nothing that anyone could do there defensively, because that pass from Wirapunda right onto the chest of Scott Cummings.
Well, an exciting passage of play by the Eagles to set up the first shot at goal.
That was a bit of class of Wirapunda there, with Koutafidis not quite taking the mark and just swooped on it.
Well, Manton did it, most things right there. He was right on Scott Cummings' tail, but he just didn't quite have the reach to knock the ball away. Cummings for the first score of the game, which is a behind. Disappointing result for the Eagles, that kick from Scott Cummings, and the first score is a behind to the West Coast Eagles. The Carlton bench, Ryan Houlihan, Brendan Favola, Michael Mansfield and young During.
Beaumont dropped an easy mark. He's been in great form. Now the umpire's paid advantage. Franchina comes away from half-back, looks for the skipper, finds Bradley.
He's
just keeps on going.
He has been tagged today by Michael Braun.
He's on centre wing, finds his mark in Beaumont. Front edge of the centre square, raking left foot. Oh, Koutafidis is going to take an easy mark. Just got rid of Morrison, and Kuta should kick the first goal of the game.
Interesting the way they set that up, the Blues. Kuta is roaming through the middle of the ground, and all the other key forwards, Whitnell, Silvani, just pushed up the ground to leave the space, which left Koutafidis one out against Chad Morrison. And, well, it was part muscle and part a slip by Morrison that saw him go to ground.
Well, you did mention before the game, Gerard, who could actually match this man. I don't think physically they have anyone, so Morrison will have to give away some size and inches today, and Koutafidis should score a goal. Just 25 metres out. Rams at home.
Did you think there that maybe Morrison slipped? I mean, there was obviously a physical joust, and then he slipped and that left Kuta on his own?
Well, he tried to engage him in a physical contest, and if he does that, he is going to lose 9.5 out of 10 times. And at the same time, if you do happen to slip, well, then you've got no chance whatsoever. Good kick by Beaumont. Drives it in. There's the one-on-one. In fact, it was one-on-none.
Well, the Carlton powerhouse, Anthony Koutafidis, gets the first goal of the game. The Blues, 1 goal, lead the West Coast, 1 behind. The behind from Scott Cummings was the first scoring opportunity of the game. Oh, up high was Porter. Couldn't quite clear it, but Ratton did. We've become quite accustomed to Brett Ratton clearing the set of bounces. In the engine room, chance here for Camporelli. Camporelli's handball sets it up. Bradley forced to kick quickly. Goes in towards the full forward area. Lappin. Now an opportunity for Hume. Gets a little kick, but Wirapunda is there. for the Eagles and is marked right on that full back line. Comes across to the near side of the ground. Good kick too. Mark taken by Cousins. Looks and then delivers. In short, Kerr. Clean bowls Kerr. Back at the back there is Camporelli. Handball. Gathered here by Houghton, nearly run down. Left foot kick is all right. Silvani can't take the mark. Ratton sets it up. Beaumont, he's got to get onto his left. He gets onto it and skillfully puts it through for the second goal of the game and the second goal for the Blues. Simon Beaumont. Well, he has done a wonderful job there because he could see that Kevin running. He was on the right side. We'll see it in a moment.
Well, he's had such a big year, hasn't he? Beaumont been playing across half back. We know he can go forward, and this is a great start by the Blues. Great start by the Blues. 2 straight goals. They lead by 11 points. Porter getting his hands on the ball first. Braun, hurried kick from that centre square. Chance for Williams, just needs a kind bounce. McKay's going to close quickly. Under pressure. Good enough to keep the ball in play for a boundary throw-in. Andrew McKay on screen. All-Australian across half-back.
Cousins was dumped at the centre bounce and taking a little while to recover.
Currently 15, so just 1 degree short of the maximum today of 16. Boundary throw-in on 50. Williams over the top, being pinched by Kerr. Wirrapunda has been lively in this first quarter. Another great kick and finds Morrison.
Still Cousins. Go on, Dip, sorry.
Sorry, I think the change has already been made on Koutafidis now with number 22 there, Colica, now picking up Koutafidis.
Did you see who dumped Cousins at the last set of bounce, Dipper? Because he's still got he's got the runner and one of the training staff with him in the middle of the ground.
Well, Morrison will be shooting from right on 50. Just moved slightly to the right to try and bring it back. Got a bit more purchase on the ball. Off hands, quick snap. Now it looks like they've kicked a goal. Well, it was a great snap. And that time, it came from Jones.
Well, it was pretty... it was a good snap. In fact, it just came from nowhere. He read it best off the pack. The Blues were trying to knock the ball through. As we take a look at how Ben Cousins goes down. Here he comes on the right of screen. And just collected on the wing there. Didn't know it was coming. And that's when you get hurt the most.
Well, the first goal, kick for the West Coast by Rowan Jones. 1-1-7. They trail Carlton, who are 2 straight. Porter gets the ball away, but it's Wirrapunda. He's got a lot of leg speed and he's able to run away from Hickmott. Kicks it out wide. McKay defensively, good punch. Forces a boundary throw in at right half forward for the Eagles.
Well, he started well with Wirrapunda, getting the ball through the middle of the ground. He's already had 4 kicks and 1 handball.
Darren Hume got the job running with David Wirrapunda.
Good luck.
The boundary throw in, Ruckman dealing with it, and in the finish it's McKay who kicks it down towards the wing. Matera taken over by Hickmott. Umpire sees that as all clear, so gives the okay for a boundary throw in right on centre wing.
When Koutafidis goes in the middle, as we see a ball up here.
Yes, it's Ben Cousins getting cleaned up. Just watch somebody coming off the wing from the centre bounce.
Might have been Houghton, was it?
Trent Houghton, no doubt about that. Can't take control. Fletcher. Free ball, Can rockets the ball to Camporelli. Danger here for the Eagles. Silvani's going to be the target. Those long arms keeps the ball in front.
Just come back, kick a goal.
Silvani can kick a goal. 35 metres out. Silvani bangs it through.
Well, you tipped it, Jared. It looked all the way that he was going to hold the ball because there were not really a target for the hand pass, was there?
There wasn't, and it just looked as if everybody was running wide of him, and he could sense that sauce. The ball coming in quickly, and it's not auguring all that well for the West Coast. This forward structure and the ability to get the ball in without any pressure has all the ingredients of a belting. Let's hope that's not the case, but what a goal.
Silvani, the goal kicker, he's got 1. Beaumont has kicked 1, and Koutafidis has kicked 1. for the West Coast Eagles, Rowan Jones is the goal kicker.
Bradley into the centre bounce. Koutafoutis to centre half forward, or that spot just out from full forward.
And Porter getting a fair purchase on that centre knockout. Peter Matera dispossessed. Freeborn goes crashing through. Gets onto the left. Kicks in towards Whitnell. A little push and shove there. And good defensive work in the finish by Carroll. Forces a boundary throw in the right forward pocket for Carlton.
And I think what would be worrying Ken Judge is, once again, I think it was Freeborn just brushing away tackles, Robbo. And if you don't put pressure on the Blues midfield coming into the forward line, this game will be over by half time.
Yes, I thought Silvani, a couple of players virtually ran past Silvani. Whitnell
once
goes
again,
to ground. Again, no pressure. Whitnell good enough to and quick enough to get the ball back up off the ground. Harding was under pressure. And the Eagles' defence, it looks like a tough afternoon. Freeborn held off the ball. Will take the free kick. Make that McKay. To Bradley inside the centre square. Goes short. He'll find Hume. Too far out the score. Silvani's in the square along with Lappin, who's on a lead. Lappin out in front. Got it. No. In the back. Yes.
Umpire had his whistle in his mouth.
He blew it, didn't he?
I don't think he blew it,
He blew it, all right.
Put the whistle in his mouth. Surely must have blown the whistle. So a let off here for the Eagles as Braun comes away. Long striding. Gardner, 55 metres out. It's a centering kick. Wilson was the high flyer. Over the top was Manton. Sure hands.
I think one of the concerns is that the Eagles have both got negative players on the two defenders that are so damaging, McKay and Bradley. So when the ball comes into their forward line, there's not enough positive. There doesn't appear to be that positive attacking thinking.
Playing the ball on its merits. Well, we saw Peter Matera do that then and just thumped it back over the line.
Emily on now, boys. Fletcher off.
Boundary throwing on centre wing. We'll see this a lot today with Porter and Gardner. They'll lock horns. Hume over the top. Always balls in. And again a ball up on centre wing. 3 straight goals to the Blues, 18. The West Coast 1-1-7. Wirapunda and Hume. Matching wits. And also Camporelli. And Ben Cousins, that man on screen. Got a heavy bump a few moments ago. Back to the half-forward line. Matera with those beautiful hands and foot speed. Drives the ball in. He's looking for Wilson. Couldn't take it. Just a touch of the fumbles for a boundary throw-in.
Just got plenty of ability, Troy Wilson, but not quite the athleticism that is required at this level. If they can get the ball to him one-on-one, I'm sure he can get a few opportunities and maybe score 2 or 3 goals. And it's going to be important. I mentioned in the lead-up, Jared, that they've only been able to score an average of 80 points per game in the 9 matches played, and that is an area of concern.
Saw Wilson kick the big bag against the Saints early in the season, Robbo, and he knows how to lead, and his kicking that day was on song, although it hasn't been so all that regularly since then. But he's such a strapping, tall and strong bloke that he can, if the ball comes in quickly, create some damage.
A player that they need to really lead them grandly is Ben Cousins. He was knocked over at the centre bounce from a ruck contest, but looks as if he's recovered okay. Manton goes short. Mark is taken by Camporelli. Will he switch? He looked, and the player out here was Franchina, but he ignored that and has decided to kick probably straight down the ground. Yes, he has, and he's found a player on his own. It's Hume. Hume is still in his defensive half, looking to give it off.
He had a great season, hasn't he?
Wirapunda.
He's had a terrific season, Hume.
In trouble. Gone.
There's a chance. Camporelli's been run down.
That's just the stuff that they need. Phil Matera showing his teammates how to go about it. Running blokes down from behind.
Centering kick, chance for Cummings. Needs a kind bounce. Manton just paddles the ball long in front. He was held. And in game number 150 today, will take the free kick. The Blues by 11 points. Made that switch from the Bombers to the Blues. Played their 95 premiership. And Hume doing some damage. Penetrating kick. Koutafoutis in his sights. Couldn't hang on. Hickmott just pounced on it. Chance for Whitnell. He's big and strong. So's his opponent there. As we see, Carroll puts the ball back over the line for a toss back in.
Carroll would be prepared to sacrifice his own game, I'm sure, to restrict the opportunities for Lance Whitnell. Whitnell has had 1 kick. Carroll yet to trouble the statistician.
Chance for the Blues. Gardner got a bit of a hip out. Matera had it and lost it. Again, a toss back in. Just over 10 minutes left in this first quarter.
Hasn't Stephen Silvani done a terrific job? I mean, when he plays the game, he plays it with such passion and desperation. He throws himself at every contest. We saw just then, and he's nearing on the 300 game mark.
Big challenge for Daniel Kerr. He's up against Brett Ratton, and Ratton's taken him to the goal square.
He's called play on.
Well, that's about what that deserved.
So Lance Whitnell, he was a bit surprised actually when the umpire paid the advantage and missed from point blank range. Game number 299 for Stephen Silvani today.
First change for Carlton, KB. Favola's on now with Darren Hume off. I mentioned before, Darren Hume has been one of those guys the last 4 or 5 weeks has really picked up his game from years prior.
Well, interesting change, Dipper, because Hume has had a fair bit of the footy. He's had 5 touches, taken 3 marks. And you get rewarded for that by having a spell on the bench. Kick forward by Cousins to centre wing. McKay takes the mark, looking to play on. Gee, the go-with player through the midfield is Camporelli. He's such a beautiful kick of the ball. This is no exception. And Silvani standing his ground as marked behind Colica. What a kick by Scott Camporelli. Going quickly through the air and spinning beautifully. Watch this. And Silvani at the back, getting rid of Michael Colica. Wirapunda there for the Eagles, not able to get his fist to it.
Top.
Opportunity with Silvani from 50 metres, directly in front. A ping at goal. It will get the distance, not the accuracy. And Silvani has now kicked 1-1 of that Carlton scoreline of 3 goals, 20, leading the Eagles 1-1-7.
Yes, there's no point in waiting down for the crumb that never comes. I think Wirapunda should have made it 2 against 1 to try and bring that ball to the ground. This might be a lack of confidence in the Eagles side. Peter Matera, one of the all-time greats for the West Coast Eagles. Certainly is the best goal-kicking wingman I think I've seen play these days, playing back. Camporelli, centre wing, bang. Hits Hickmott right on the chest. The lead is on. Silvani, that's been ignored. This man hasn't. Kutafiti's got Colic at the beat. Did well, got his body on the line.
Let it go.
Pulled off the ball was Ratton. Kutafiti's with strength. Tries to find Lappin. Harding heads towards the line. Morrison, has he kept it in? Yes, says the umpire. Back to Colica, goes short. Finds Braun across half-back. He wants the run of Wirapunda. He gets it. The handball wasn't spot on. Good enough to keep the ball alive.
Clever kick, KB. Very clever kick, that one.
Was it in? Was it in, Dipper? But was it inside the boundary line?
No, yes, it was. Just a clever kick. It just put in front of Colica there.
How far do you think it went, Dipper?
About a foot.
Embley towards centre-half forward, and the big fist from Freeborn sees the ball over.
Let's have a look at the replay. You reckon that was out, mate? You reckon? No way.
I think that, gee whiz, might be right on the line, the arc of the boundary line.
That was the Morrison one.
Embley came over the back. Beaumont had it and lost it. McKay with strength, tried to crash his way through, loose ball. Camporelli, hard at Jones.
Jones could have nearly got a free kick, Kevin, do you think there? Camporelli just trying to bump him and went over the top of him, and umpire ignored it and gave the all clear for a boundary throw in right forward pocket for the Eagles. Well done, Franchina. Eventually kicked away there by Camporelli close to the line. Bradley with Braun.
It's an amazing tribute to the oldest bloke in the game, that he's still being nullified or attempted to be nullified at
by a 20-year-old.
37 years of age.
Oh, yes, he's a
bit like a bloke you're sitting next to there, Robbo.
No, terrific, Craig Bradley, very much the professional. Now, the umpire's found a free kick. It's going to the Blues, maybe a throw, was it?
Yeah, spot on there, boys, throw that was.
So, Camporelli already that's Philip Matera who was penalised, and when you have a good look at the replay, which the umpire hasn't got that opportunity, so it was a good decision. McKay into the middle, Lappin is marked on his chest. Silvani providing the lead, but he might go for Houghton. He'll go further and look for Favola. That was nearly the mark. Yes, it's been paid to Andrew Williams across that half-back line for the West Coast. Got the ball to Peter Matera. He in turn goes to Colica. Colica, who showed plenty of promise at the Hawthorn Football Club, crossed to the Eagles, and they'd be looking for him to be one of their key players, I'm sure. has the combination across that half-back line for the Blues. Eventually, the kick by Christou was weighted beautifully for Whitnell, and Whitnell is marked. He goes into the middle.
In the middle.
Very loose at the moment, aren't they? Giving them too much space to work in. Lappin goes to half forward. Hickmott in front of his face. Handball to Beaumont. Can't shrug the Peter Matera tackle. Comes back to Hickmott. Hickmott's handball Ratton. Ratton to Lappin. Lappin quickly onto the right. Chance here for Cooter. The ball won't sit. Beautifully trapped by Frivola. Over the top was Embley. Now a real struggle for possession at half forward for the Blues. Goes past Carroll. Peter Matera, he's tackled, trying to play for the free kick maybe. Hickmott in over the top. Umpire allows play to go on, and eventually a kick out wide will sit for Porter. It will not. It will bounce away from Mark Porter and go over for a boundary throw in. Embley is off for the West Coast, and David Haynes is on his first game of AFL football.
The Blues across centre wing. Beaumont having a stellar season. Camporelli drives the ball back. He's looking for Houghton. Couldn't take it. Got his hands on the Sherrin. Matera just firstly poleaxed that time by Koutafidis, just with body weight. Jakovic does well under pressure to Morrison. To Cousins. Three big guns combined. They keep the ball alive. Jones comes away from centre half back to space. Braun just needs a kind bounce and gets one. Miranda was on a lead. Young boy back onto the ground. First time, Haynes for his first game. The Eagles reach 50. Jones the tackler. Again a loose ball. Haynes inside 50. So a couple of touches for the first game. Porter drives the ball back, and it's been taken by Braun.
Not long on the ground for Favola. He's off.
Whatever happened to that great jumper the Eagles had?
Yeah.
It's an absolute disgrace, this jumper. Whitnell looks like a dog's breakfast. Finds the skipper in Bradley, comes away on centre wing and pumps the ball down. He's looking for Silvani out in front of Jakovic, the tackler. He'll need support. Silvani
great.
Just keeps it alive, just too desperate. Bradley backtracks, conceded ground.
Cooter.
Here comes Franchina.
Cooter.
Here comes Cooter.
Oh, cop that.
It's Christou trying to crash his way through, and Hume has ripped off the ball. Carlton too desperate so far in this first quarter.
Both Houghton and Christou say, what was that?
Hey, they're mates, aren't they? Christou and Koutafidis.
Well, he has got a crook back, and no wonder. He's been body slammed as well as ridden into the ground.
Well, it wasn't Cooter that got him. It was one of the Eagles players coming in at the last minute, and Houghton obviously being beckoned towards the interchange bench.
KB, you'd be interested to know that the second most talked about subject on the Eagles website is their jumper.
Well, I'm not surprised. Fancy winning premierships and looking back and find that you're running around with this jumper on. Hume directly in front. Pops it through.
Well, I think, both of you boys mentioned in the lead-up that Koutafidis is going to be the problem. And when you come forward like this, the onus is going to be, or the focus is going to be on the big leaping Koutafidis, which leaves the opportunity for the Crummers. That was Harding into Christou, but Harding then infringing against Hume, which led to the Hume goal. The Blues 4-2-26 lead the West Coast 1-1-7. 19 points is the margin. So the bounce back at the centre. Porter beaten on this occasion by Gardner. Sweeping the ball in front of himself was Ratton. Then McKay to Bradley. Oh, what a combination. The veterans, Ratton, McKay and Bradley. Bradley towards full forward. The mark, yes, it's taken. Whitnell has got it. Away from Carroll. And maybe the fifth Carlton goal coming up from the boot of Lance Whitnell. He's only a matter of 30 metres out. Pretty well straight in front.
Must be very difficult, I think, for Ken Judge at this time in his coaching career with the new club, given that they have got such a run of injuries, but they are playing a one-on-one brand of footy, and if you're doing that, you line them up one-on-one, and they just can't win.
Whitnell from short range has kicked the goal. The Blues have got their fifth.
Man for man, KB, you would expect this side, given the inexperience of some of the Eagles players, you'd have to lose by 10 goals, and you wonder why they're not sort of experimenting with the other aspects of the flooding tactics, etc., to try and just bottle them up and see what that can bring, because just going man for man, I can't see too many spots where the Eagles bloke is better than the Carlton bloke.
That's a good point. Certainly got to get numbers to the ball, the Eagles players. You've got to make certain that you make it a contest. Camporelli, here come the Blues again. Drives the ball down for Vola, playing in front of Colliger. Got an ugly bounce. Jakovic will clean up. Wirupunda. Just a steadying kick. Beautiful kick.
Nice kick.
The run comes from Morrison. Gardner supplied the handball. The shove out, that time to Fletcher. Freeborn. Been a handy player. Haynes has been in the action since coming off the bench. Youngster just making his way in the game for the Eagles. And Jones, who's kicked the goal, takes it over. Blues by 25 points. 18-8 inside 50 in this first quarter. The Blues, so dominating. Be tough for the defenders today for the Eagles. Hands and knees.
Push Matera
up.
Push Matera, as in Peter, up into that forward line, Kev.
Jared Camporelli, 11 touches.
Well, he's up against Ben Cousins. They're playing not so much wide of each other. They're meeting at the neutral ball situation, but he is just going to get so many extra easy kicks because of the dominance of the players around him.
The long arms of Gardner. It came from Kerr. Some big raps on Kerr. This is a big kick going right to the line. Off target and through for a behind. 1-2-8 the West Coast. Carlton 5-2-32.
Johnny Annear, the physio there for the Eagles.
Played with Collingwood and played with the Tigers and played with the West Coast.
Yep.
Bradley. Short. Freeborn. Really starting to make his mark with the Blues. Koutafidis, too much carry on the ball. Colliger finds Morrison. They'll try and chip it up. Jones got a bad bounce. Hickmott keeps the ball alive for Vola. Great smother off the boot. And again, a toss back in. That young man there, David Kerr, did well. Daniel Kerr, I should say.
Daniel, yeah. Legend has it that John Annear, not all that happy with the game time he had one day when he was playing for Collingwood, so he decided to run the 12 kilometres home.
He did too. It's a great story, isn't it?
Yep.
Now the Eagles trying to get the ball clear of their half-back line. Gardner, tireless worker, but on this occasion the kick well judged there by McKay. Always seems to be just a wall there of defence. Oh, shocking kick. Well, sorry, Mark. It was a lovely kick because it found Hickmott. Hickmott across the half-forward line. And the mark simply taken and the finish by Beaumont. A little too easy, you would think. The breeze perhaps creates a certain amount of the ball dropping short, but Beaumont, a very, very simple mark from this Hickmott kick.
Well, we've had a number of players now have had shots at goal that have run from behind the ball coming from the back line. Beaumont, another one.
Directly in front, low trajectory, goal. Beaumont has now kicked 2, and the Blues have got 6 with 20 seconds left. Carlton by 30 points.
Now, coming into this match, Robbo, I was talking to one of the employers here at 7, and they were saying that the bookmakers had the West Coast 48 points in. It's a pretty big start, 8 goals. And I would have thought they had rocks in their head. But right now, I tell you what.
You're lucky you didn't take a slice of it, Jared.
Lucky I didn't.
Simon Beaumont on screen has booted 2 goals. 6-2-38 the Blues, 1-2-8 the West Coast. Gardner to Cousins. They'll need a big effort today from their 2 stars. Koutafidis, the juggler, had it and lost it. Just shoveled out that time by Porter. Camporelli, the run comes from Massey. Edge of the centre square for Bowler. Got it right on the siren. So the Blues, as Peter Matera was running off the ground, so Brendan Favola has a chance to kick Carlton's 7th goal of the quarter.
Well, we spoke about the pressure, the midfield pressure not being up to scratch, and if it continued, the game would be over by half-time. May well have been a bit generous. If this one goes through, you suspect that the quarter-time score is
well,
going
his
to
record
be
in
enough.
front of the goals is pretty good, Jared. He's been at 14 goals, 6 this year, so he's been very accurate.
You've just put added pressure on him, KB. Let's see how he finishes.
From right on 50, Favola going right to the line, just doesn't quite make it. The accuracy was there.
That's why his stats are so good, Ken.
Dropped short all the time.
Short.
At quarter time, the Blues 6-2-38 lead the West Coast 1-8. So the lead by 30 points, and goals to Silvani, Whitnell, Hume and Kudafis, and 2 to Beaumont. And for the West Coast Eagles, Rowan Jones has kicked their sole goal. 38 plays, 8 at quarter time from Optus Oval.
C7's telecast of the 2001 AFL Premiership season proudly brought to you by Harvey Norman. There's a store near you. And the Nissan Challenge. The CUB AFL 2001 Premiership season. Live Friday night at 7:30, St Kilda take on Essendon. Saturday afternoon at 5, Geelong clash with Hawthorn. Saturday night live at 7:30, the West Coast Brisbane confrontation with the Adelaide Bulldogs encounter right after at 10:30. Sunday live at 2, the Kangaroos battle for mantle with the Richmond Carlton showdown Sunday night at 10:30. The CUB AFL 2001 season on C7 Sport.
John Brown, security guard extraordinaire.
I'll just stay here then and secure the parking lot.
A dedicated rent-a-car who's had himself a little accident.
We have the technology. We can rebuild him.
I'm not me anymore. I'm a hardware store.
Now, he's a fighter for justice and a doer of good.
It's just like the $6 million man.
But behind every superhero, there's a super villain.
It's got a sort of postmodern Captain Hook kind of feel to it.
Let's see what you can do, Gadgetmobile. Because I feel the need for speed.
Rupert Everett.
Good morning, Robo-Gadget. What are you going to do now?
I'm gonna kick some butt.
Very saucy.
And Matthew Broderick as Inspector Gadget.
You know what they say about nice guys finishing last? Huh? Well, they were wrong.
Now showing on Movie 1.
Harvey Norman for 36 months interest-free terms. 36 months interest-free on furniture, bedding and bedroom furniture. 36 months interest-free on electrical items like fridges, freezers, TVs and stereos. 36 months interest-free on computers, printers, communication items and software. What a deal! 36 months interest-free. 36 months interest-free terms now at Harvey Norman. Minimum purchase $500, 1/3 deposit. Conditions apply. See store for details.
Go Harvey, go Harvey, go, go. Go Harvey, go Harvey Norman, go!
It's the one clash that really counts.
Best of starts for England.
What kind of a people do they think we are?
Great bowling.
Is it possible they do not realize that we shall never cease to persevere against them?
Took a very fine catch indeed.
Till they have been taught a lesson which they will never forget.
Talk's cheap, and words won't save them. The Aussie cricket machine will be fine-tuned and ready. And the battle for the Ashes coming soon to C7 Sport.
Well, it was a big start by the Blues, KB. Where do you go if you are sitting in the coach's box of the Eagles?
Well, you've got to make certain it's a contest. You've also got to get numbers to the ball. I reckon there's been a few occasions where the West Coast Eagles players haven't played the ball on its merits. I think they've been too concerned with their opponent instead of attacking the ball.
Well, the second quarter about to start here at Optus Oval, and the Blues enjoying a 30-point advantage. Gardner doing well. Good contest between here and Porter. Punched away from Houlihan, back towards the middle of the ground. Bradley gathers and then gives the hand pass away. Camporelli, it's so obvious that Scott Camporelli is going to be somewhere in their foray forward from half-back line through to the half-forward line. On that occasion, the kick was not quite what he was looking for, and Lappin with Jakovic see the ball over for a boundary throw in the right forward pocket area, right in front of the Social Club here at Optus Oval.
Well, it's an interesting conundrum for the coach of the Eagles and for Ben Cousins. Does he go out and try to establish the wins from the centre, or does he go man-on-man with Camporelli?
Well, it's Camporelli again for possession number 14. Kicks towards the full forward line, and Kudafidis has given the free kick away here. It will go to his opponent in Michael Colica. right on that full back line for the Eagles.
He's actually done okay, Colliger, in a couple of contests with Koutafidis. Out wide is Porter, taken by Hume. Clever play that time by Bradley. Just kicked the ball from mid-air. Chance for Colliger, playing in front. Koutafidis beaten by Colliger again, who's pulled off the ball. There was no free kick. Hume tackled by Wirrapunda. Ratton just paddles the ball long. Chance for Morrison. Kerr should have ran hard to give some sort of support. It's kicked off the ground, close to the boundary line. Chance for Gaspar. Does well.
Good
Through
hand.
Gardner to Braun. So can the Eagles set it up? Tries to drill the ball. He's looking for Miranda. Bit too much carry for him. 55 metres out from goal. Peter Matera wants a free kick. So does Hunter. They'll get a ball up. Scott Cummings in the square. Phil Matera at his feet.
Miranda just the one tackle.
Being picked up by Massey. Mark Miranda. Kerr did well. Gaspar, a couple of early touches in the second term. Kicks a high ball into the pocket. Again, a toss back in. 38 plays 8, 6-2 the Blues, 1-2 the West Coast. Phil Matera on screen. Just the two possessions today, the one kick and the one handball. And the West Coast Eagles bench. Just looks on. Fletcher, Embley, Haynes and Wilson. Haynes having a touch of the action in that first quarter.
Camporelli in there again, Kevin. He's had 10 kicks and 4 hand passes.
Just a ball-winning dynamo. Just picking up Ben Cousins. Porter. Cousins does well. Sets it up to Miranda. That's his first touch. High ball. Hunter has to go hard. Beaumont used his body well. Couldn't take the mark. And it's a ball up just 20 metres out from the Eagles' goal.
Well, Simon Beaumont was highlighted before the match. He's been an improver for the Blues over a few years now. And it's players like he and Hume and Freeborn and Massey, Favola, etc. that the Blues will be looking for over the next year or so, as a couple of their veterans, maybe in Bradley and Silvani, look as though they will be exiting the AFL scene. There's Peter Matera, another one of the, I think, Gerard, you referred to him as an all-time star. Just a tremendous. I remember a game, the grand final against Geelong, where Mark Bairstow, I thought, played pretty well.
Yep.
But Peter Matera kicked 5, I think it was, from the wing. Now, a struggle here at it's nearly into that forward pocket area, about 35 to 40 metres from the Eagles' goal. Presently, no addition to the quarter-time score. Carlton was 6-2-38, the Eagles 1-2-8, and no alteration to that score as yet. Miranda, Massey, Camporelli, Cousins. Umpire will bounce to just get their concentration levels back on the football. Now he's found a free kick, and it's going to Porter. What did that look like, Kevin? A shoulder or something?
Well, I'd have to see it again. I think Ruckman get the easiest free kicks in the business.
Yeah, the umpire waits for them.
Well, there's a chance here for the Eagles. The Blues have messed this up a bit, trying to clear their full back line. Ratton's kick. Matera's got it. Handball wide, long, and taken to the ground.
It was taken too high. Has to get a free kick.
Is it Wilson at the bottom of that, is it?
Wilson's on the bench.
Wilson. I quite recognise who that was that went down. Gaspar. One of the younger brigade.
It was taken too high here. You'll see it around the neck. There it is. Clunk. From Camporelli.
Well, I think Anthony Francina was going to make sure he wasn't going anywhere, even if the first two that tackled him didn't have him under control. But he got a free kick. This is Travis Gaspar. Shot at goal, misses to the near side. So again, a disappointing result for the West Coast Eagles.
I hope you boys bought your umbrellas, because it's just about to pour down here at Optus Oval. I reckon another 10 minutes, boys.
So we'll watch that with a bit of interest. The weather forecasting coming from our boundary rider, Robert DiPiadomenico, as Ange Christou kicks in. And in the finish, a pretty good mark. This is a player that I've been just waiting to emerge. He was one of the high priority draft picks a couple of years ago, and just struggled a little. It looks as if he's finding a little niche right now in the Blues' defence. McKay, and eventually Ryan Houlihan taking Daniel Kerr over, and will force a boundary throw in. Centre wing on the near side, right under the commentary box here at Optus Oval. And the ruckman to contest, Gardner, Kerr, Colica, now Morrison into the middle. This will be a disputed ball, the bounce, all important. Christou 1 on 3. So Hume did good running, didn't he, to support the player who was going to create. Beaumont, the recipient of the hand pass, Beaumont's kick disappointing. And the mark is taken by Jakovic for the Eagles.
Who comes away, goes very short, finds Gardner, who's been battling very hard, 6 possessions and 3 marks, pumps the ball inside 50. Miranda couldn't take it on the second grab, just throws the ball away onto the boot. Cummings, well tackled by Manton, playing game number 150 today. Massey's taken to the ground. It's where the Blues always have the numbers. Franchina tried to crash his way through.
It's a free
Jones
kick,
might have been
surely.
unlucky there. Matera stands and delivers and misses from 40 metres out.
Well, waving your arms in the air from umpire David Corcoran is one way of dealing with these things, but there was an amazing amount of... that should have been a free kick, surely. You come barging through a couple of players, KB, you're entitled to get a free kick if you don't get rid of it.
Yes, if you
against, a free kick against him.
Absolutely.
That's right, if you don't get rid of the ball by hand or by foot. There's a beautiful kick, he's looking for his mate, Koutafidis. Got an ugly bounce, Braun has pounced on it. Gardner
calling for it in long.
It's been good. He finds Wirapunda. He was on the stretch. It's been interfered with. He'll take the free kick. So he's on the edge of the centre square. Wirapunda has had it 7 times. Hunter on a lead. Manton's going to take a mark.
Raffle.
Porter was there as well. Hume leaves it for Whitnell. Didn't quite hit his target in Houlihan, but he'll have support. Comes from Freeborn from half back. Penetrating left foot kick. Silvani playing in front. Well, he may have been manhandled. Chance now for Camporelli. Maybe just trying to be a little bit too fancy. Through for a behind.
Worked against France last night.
1-0 for the Socceroos.
Not here, not here for the Blues.
Bit of Matera. The ball back into play. Short. Williams from the back pocket. Whitnell went the punch, picked up by Jones. Back towards Gaspar, who was just outbodied that time by Beaumont.
McKay.
Who's loose. Good call. Robbo and McKay finds the loose player in Silvani. He'll find Koutafidis in the pocket. In fact, he left it for Bradley. They could have raffled it.
Smart work from Craig Bradley. He could see that Kouta was going to be the target for the short pass, so he just slipped over in front of him.
2 straight goals this year for Craig Bradley.
Is there any chance, Kevin, that he could go for another year and
I would think so.
try and attack Bruce Doull's games playing record?
How many games has he played now?
342.
342, I think he's got another season. I think there was an article the other day suggested he may go on next year. Bradley from 30 metres out. He's on his preferred side. And the Carlton throng go up as one as he kicks a goal.
Well, I think he's just been an absolute superstar, Craig Bradley. While he was trying to, when he first came across and tried to create some sort of a reputation for himself, a lot of Carlton people were very critical of him, the way he plays football. But if he played with unbelievable bravado, he might get injured and you wouldn't see him for weeks, would you? The way he plays with leadership. Bradley, I mean, he's just an absolute superstar in any terms whatsoever, I feel anyway. Camporelli again, he's just clearing the centre bounce area too easily. He kicks it out into the path of and finds Lappin in front of Harding. Camporelli, 17 possessions. Keep going at this rate, it'll be over 40. Short pass too easy. Whitnell provided the lead and Lappin honoured that. And Whitnell will shoot for goal from about 40 metres and an ever so slight angle. Robert Heatley stand end here at Optus Oval. Whitnell has kicked one. Whitnell has kicked a couple. 2 goals now to Lance Whitnell and Simon Beaumont. And the Blues go marching on. They've kicked 8-3-51. West Coast 1-4-10. Margin 41 points.
Well, 1 goal midway through the second quarter suggests that the only thing of interest now in this game is whether or not Dipper is accurate in his forecast for the rain. I suspect he may be in trouble shortly. Haven't seen Noah running around with a bag of nails, but who knows?
Well, the West Coast Eagles, their only goal was kicked at the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. A long drought.
Well, they now trail by 41 points. Gardner and Porter, they've had a pretty good duel. Porter from the ruck contest, good enough to get his boot to the ball. Chance for Hume. Blues are killing them around the packs at ground level. Just weight of numbers. It would be very difficult playing in defence today for the Eagles so far in this game. You've got to have some pressure on the midfield. Stop the ball from coming in because they can just find a target with precision kicks. There's Mansfield. He'd be just itching to get onto the field, Michael Mansfield. i7sport.com.au.
Spot on, KB.
All the action of the AFL. Harding. Touch of the fumbles. Koutafidis to Bradley. Somehow just wigged his way out of trouble. Jones tries to keep it alive. Pounced on again by Bradley, and Hume is going to hit Whitnell.
Well,
that's where you need the pressure.
What about Darren Hume, though? The finishing there off his left. I think a couple of years ago he would have struggled a little bit there. And the persistence shown by the Carlton Brains Trust to just keep persevering with Darren Hume, and it looks as if it's going to pay off handsomely with plenty of gains too.
Whitnell going for goal number 3. Colliker right on the line, has done well. He's got a hand to it and through for a minor score. 2-2 to Lance Whitnell.
Our stats, Kev, show that the Blues have gone inside their forward 50 27 times and the Eagles 12. You just can't be competitive if you're going in that infrequently.
And of course, you can just imagine the pressure on the defenders. Houlihan, Freeborn.
Well,
Houlihan. Jones, the tackler. Freeborn from outside of 50 just wobbles the ball forward. Silvani was playing in front. The Carlton fans, they wanted a free kick.
He played that well, Kevin, didn't he? I mean, he's a strong man, Stephen Silvani, as is Glenn Jakovic, but Jakovic's efforts to try and get into a position to spoil and a basic infringement against the Carlton veteran Stephen Silvani.
Going for his second goal. He's got it. Rammed it home.
Well, it's lopsided to say the least, isn't it? 9-4 to 1-4. I felt coming here today that the Blues would have a comfortable victory, but then when you looked at the Eagles lineup, you thought, well, they've got some fairly well-credentialed players out there, but just not putting anywhere near enough pressure on the Carlton players who are just getting clean possessions in the middle of the ground.
Well, she's pretty tough out in the middle of the ground, but I'd reckon she'd be very tense and tough in the box there, Ken Judge and the boys trying to just throw the magnets around to come up with a more competitive unit. Starts there in the middle, though. At the moment, the stats have it 9-2 against. The Blues getting the ball away far too easily and too often from the middle of the ground.
Umpires are Gavin Dorr, David Corcoran and Michael Vozzo. But again, Porter and Hume were right onto Daniel Kerr at the centre bounce. Porter tries to clear, and eventually the Blues will get it out wide. Ratton to Bradley. Bradley off the left, and Hickmott will mark. It is a procession. Whitnell it is. Whitnell at half forward, about 40 metres out directly in front. Bradley, the kicker, and Whitnell, who was marked. He's kicked 2, and his floating punt kick has gone through for his third. One of the youngest players ever to play 100 games of league football, Lance Whitnell. I think it was last week he played his 100th game.
And, number 101 today.
There he was, Ratton setting up Bradley once again. In front was Big Red. Big Red struggled in the early part of the season, but has played a couple of beauties over the last month, and he looks set for a belter here today, Robbo.
Peter Matera on the bench. Embley has come on, and also Michael Mansfield's come on for Ange Christou. 64 plays 10, so the Blues by 54. Just a force at the moment. Freeborn works the ball. Look at Hume, desperate at the contest. Hume again, just burrows in for the ball. Magnificent play by Hume. Houlihan sets it up, and in front, Silvani was a diving attempt. Jakovic from half-back, some run. Bangs the ball inside 50. Looking for Cousins. Running into a brick wall, that time was Miranda. Loose ball, Cousins with strength, tries to set it up. Under pressure was Embley. Now the whistle is gone, and the ball has to come back to Cousins.
Well, actually, that's penalised the Eagles because they were going to gather the ball at half forward within scoring distance through Miranda. Now the kick has got to come back to the 50-metre line where you would think Ben Cousins might struggle to score from.
Well, he'd be a 50-50 chance at best. He's kicked 5-5 for the season. Not going to quite make the distance. And Massey just punches the ball through for behind.
The definition of the advantage rule, Kevin, why wouldn't the umpire have seen that as an opportunity for the Eagles to gather 30 metres out instead of bringing it back?
Well, the umpire has to make a decision at the time he blows the whistle whether or not the advantage was there or whether the advantage came far too late after he blew the whistle for the ball to come back. Favola, desperate play. We've seen this a few times today. Houlihan's going to drill it, finds Ratton. Here comes the run. Favola runs inside 50. Poor kick. Needing a kind bounce that time was Carroll. Puts it straight over the line. So a chance for the Blues. Just 35 metres out from goal.
Gee, there's a confidence level. It's obvious, isn't it? Right down, Carroll. Why wouldn't he just throw it on his boot and kick it 40 metres further down the line? Colliker and Uurapunda. Uurapunda, just no one really to kick to, and then kicks right in front of the Carlton goal. Hume tries to dispossess, but he created a chance, eventually came back to himself. Hand pass wide, kick forward by Hickmott, was it? No, that's During kicking the ball forward for the Blues and scoring a behind. 10-5-65 to 1-5-11, and these moments for the Eagles bring back memories. 2 weeks ago against Hawthorn they really struggled, and I was talking about their match against Essendon at Windy Hill in their formative years where they struggled and didn't kick a very big score at all, and they really are struggling. There's no positive play. Even here the forward thrust was left lamenting. McKay was desperate where the ball came from and touched it off the boot, Porter having a rest, and the kick over will result in a boundary throw in between wing and left half forward favouring the Eagles. Kudafidi's doing the ruck work with Gaspar. Over the top was Houghton, and eventually the ball spills and Camporelli not able to get it quite efficiently enough there to Ratton, and it's over the top of Ratton was Daniel Kerr, and the Carlton midfielder will take the free kick. Well, there you are. There's an example of arrogance, if you could call it that. But he pinpointed Mansfield, and Camporelli running has kicked the ball to half forward. Awkward bouncing ball. Houlihan to gather. Hand passes wide. Massey will straighten. Give it to Beaumont. Beaumont for his third goal. Brilliant football by the Blues. The bangers are going here at Optus Oval. Beaumont has kicked 3. Whitnell has kicked 3. Silvani has kicked 2. And the Blues have kicked their 11th. They're 11-5 to 1-5.
Well, when a man has kicked 3 goals off half-back, you know that there's plenty of run through the middle of the ground, and generally it means that his side is dominating proceedings. He's got plenty of talent, Houlihan, and Massey also getting involved in proceedings. Nice goal.
11-5-71. The Blues, West Coast 1-5-11. They trail by 10 goals. Well, I can remember the Eagles kicked 1 goal once against the Bombers out at Windy Hill.
I was there that day.
I've got a feeling Chris Lewis may have kicked their only goal, did he, that day? We're going back a long, long way.
John Todd was the coach.
John Todd was the coach, just the one single goal. Well, we've only got 6 minutes to half time, and just that one goal on the board, which come at the 7-minute mark of that first quarter. Whitnell playing in front. Carlton players just streaming now. Inside 50, Mansfield finds Camporelli. Favola on a lead, that's been ignored. Backing back was Houghton. Jakovic. Can't take control. Favola keeps the ball alive. Hume's going to kick a goal. They're too persistent.
Favola pretty good there, wasn't he?
It was fantastic. It's the persistence of Carlton. There's second efforts and third efforts, putting your body on the line, running hard at the ball. A team full of confidence. We can see the Eagles are just shot as far as confidence is concerned. Jakovic there, just such a great player, just couldn't handle the ball, just couldn't pick it up.
Kevin, in a situation like this, don't you just go back to basics? Well, you can't afford for your team, your teammates, your supporters, your corporates to watch this go on. You've got to go back to basics and try and play a more restrictive game against the Blues, who are absolutely dominating.
Don't you think they've done that though, Robbo? They've gone man on man. I think what's is lacking is people with positive thought processes out there.
Cousins now, well, we'll watch for the next few moments, because there's a promising build-up here. Daniel Kerr, nearly taking a one-hander was During. After the ball, Jones, handball Kerr, tackle, kick away there by Embley, bounces right on the goal, and Merton did a good job. Merton did an excellent job, and then forced it behind, or he may have given a free kick.
He got one. Just been taken a bit high, I think, Robbo.
He did well, because that bouncing ball coming in could have gone anywhere. He was able to block it like a goalkeeper, and then with his desperation was rewarded with the free kick. During, he looks quite talented too, doesn't he?
I reckon right now the Eagles have got nothing to lose. Why not just say to the young blokes, go out there and play? Forget this man-on-man stuff. You're getting belted anyway.
Well, I mentioned to you before, I reckon in the first quarter I saw a lot of players who didn't want to play the ball on its merits. That means attack the ball, back yourself in, go for a mark, go for a punch. Don't look at your opponent.
Well, I got the stage, KB, where once early in this quarter there was a boundary throw-in 15 metres around from the Eagles' goals, and two of the Eagles' players were more concerned about Carlton players.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You've got to just play it on its merits. Got to have some confidence. And it's shot at the moment, and the Blues are applying the pressure. Whitnell to McKay. Good contest. That time came from Williams. Hickmott. Mansfield backtracks. Conceded ground, but he finds Camporelli. Lappin. Thumped that time from behind. And the Eagles head towards the boundary line. The bounce though to Camporelli, a loose player. He's been magnificent today. 21 possessions of Camporelli. He's just found Favola.
It's not a Volkswagen ball, it's a Camporelli ball today, Kev.
Favola from 55 metres tries to swing it back. Can't do so, and through for a minor score.
Brendan Favola's first score, but just a few moments ago when Darren Hume kicked his second goal, it was we're watching Camporelli, of course, and get the ball into the Favola area, but Favola was good in creating the opportunity for Darren Hume to get his second goal. Hunter has the football for the Eagles and kicks it down towards half-back, where McKay will gather, get the ball to Camporelli. Maybe just a little overzealous there in trying to create an opportunity for Ratton. A little wry smile there from Brett Ratton.
He's done a pretty good job, Daniel Kerr, when the Blues are giving the Eagles a football lesson. And so there's been plenty of free ball and plenty of easy possession out there. Not that Brett Ratton gets too many easy touches, but Daniel Kerr has restricted him just to 11 possessions.
Hume, a kick down the line, and they're just crumbing beautifully. They are grasping every opportunity. Bradley's kick, and leaping and lurching himself at the football was Ryan Houlihan, who was marked 40 metres out, and he may get into the goal-kicking action here. Bradley's kick.
We see all the lucky bounces, so to speak, are going to Carlton players. But Tom Hafer used to have a wonderful saying, if you have enough players around the ball, it doesn't matter which way it bounces, you'll have one of your teammates there to get it.
Hey, Jeezy used to say that too, KB.
Not so much a lucky bounce.
Just let us know when the floods are about to start.
There's a free kick here off the ball.
How's that rain coming in, Dip?
So on its way,
Is
KB.
it? So's
Well,
Christmas.
the opportunity for the Blues through Ryan Houlihan has been disappointed, and the kick away came from Haynes, and he to Gasper. Gasper out wide. Mark is taken by Miranda.
Miranda was firstly caught in two minds, so he goes very short and finds Kerr. Some nice wraps on this young player. To 50, 3 against 1. Houghton takes a mark. Gardner has battled pretty hard. He's had it 9 times, 4 marks and 9 hit-outs. Lappin. Time for think music, just weighs up his options. Silvani's going to be the target. Williams to Gaspar at centre-half back. Gardner's the target, those long arms. Couldn't take it, Franchina can.
The rain's arrived, KB.
The Blues always have players at the foot of the pack, and then they have the runners. There's another one, Lappin.
Right. Somebody just opened a can beside you, Dipper.
Just tumble the ball
I'm telling
forward.
you, it's raining.
And pouncing on it.
Goals.
Is During,
Raining goals.
And During kicks a goal. Jordan During kicks his first goal of the game and his second of his short career.
Well, brilliant skills when you consider the amount of rain that has been pouring here at Optus Oval for the last 15 minutes. A couple of trickles, a couple of spits there.
Lappin did a good job there, Jared. There was no one to kick to, but he kicked to a gap.
And here he is, just running onto it. Wouldn't have kicked too many goals for the Blues. In fact, it's just his second.
Jordan During in September will turn 22 years of age. He's played just 3 games for the Blues and has now kicked his second goal. Cousins tackled by Bradley, caught with the ball, so should be rewarded. Maybe the Blues now? No, it's not the advantage. So it will come back to the skipper, who has no one minding the mark, and eventually Braun did get back. Pretty blatant, wasn't it, Bradley on Cousins. The kick forward, mark. Kuda! Go the crowd. So Koutafidis going for Carlton's 14th goal, which we believe is the best ever quarter for the Blues against the West Coast Eagles. But we're now watching once again. In that sort of flight and form, Koutafidis is unbeatable.
That's what's worrying about this game. Kouta's had just 1 kick.
Koutafidis goes for goal and disappointingly misses to the left. Just something that I'd like to mention here, Jared, the black armbands for the Blues, I'm sure, would be in respect to one of their directors, Peter Kerr, son of Laurie. Laurie, a very well-respected figure around the club for many years. But Peter, a director, I played football with Peter at the start of my career, and unfortunately he lost his wife during the week, just 52 years of age, Moya, and it was a terrible thing in the Blues. With
I can
respect,
confirm that, Robbo.
black armbands.
Just a few seconds left in this first half as Lappin does well, just slapped the ball away. Hunter paddles the ball over the line for a toss back in. Hunter on screen picking up Brendan Favola. 13-7, 85 the Blues. The West Coast 1-5-11. They trail by 74 points. Wirapunda. Houlihan and Favola battle for the ball as the siren sounds. An amazing first half by Carlton. They have completely shell-shocked the West Coast Eagles with a great display of football. 13-7, 85, 1-5-11, so it's a 74-point lead. Beaumont's booted 3, so has Lance Whitnell, and 2 to Silvani and 2 to Hume. And for the West Coast Eagles, just the one solitary goal kicker today, and that's Rowan Jones. So at half-time, the Blues by 74 points.
Live Thursday night at 7:30. Peter Donegan, Peter Dacos, Mark Harvey, with 90 minutes of must-see TV for every footy fan. They're challenging, probing, never afraid to confront the major issues. And along with Crackers Keenan, they get down and get personal, and sometimes even talk about the football. Keeping you in the picture. Footy Focus, live Thursday night at 7:30, C7 Sport.
So what is it about Katarina Stratford?
Would any of you be interested in dating Katarina Stratford?
Oh, I've never been that ripped.
And why are these guys so desperate to get her a date?
And what about him?
Don't look at him, okay? He's a criminal. I heard he lit a state trooper on fire. He just did a year in San Quentin.
Join Australia's own Heath Ledger
You're gonna pay me to take out some chick.
for 10 Things I Hate About You. Now showing on Movie 1.
It's a romantic love letter.
Keep imagining what I'd say to you if somehow you came back.
Mesmerised by the love and devotion, she's determined to track down the author.
On the boat today, I had a good time too.
But he still struggles with a tragic
I've
loss.
only cared about 2 women in my whole life.
He has so much love for her, you know.
Starring Kevin Costner, Robin Wright Penn and Paul Newman. Message in a Bottle. Now showing on Movie Extra.
The Nissan Challenge is on again. We challenge you to find a tougher four-wheel drive than the range of Nissan Patrols from 48740. We challenge you to find one with a powerful petrol or turbo diesel engine, air conditioning, airbag and CD player, 7 seats, and for a limited time, free bull bar, tow bar and driving lights. And we challenge you to get it from just 48740. The Nissan Challenge. Take it up at your Nissan dealer now.
One-day cricket. He's got it. England, Pakistan, Australia. International one-day action at its best. Can the world champions be beaten? England take on Pakistan. Catch a full replay Friday morning on C7 Sport.
Both sides back on the ground for the second half here at Optus Oval. Currently it is all Carlton. Kevin Bartlett has returned after a very nice cup of tea. KB, can you find something to fight for if you're the West Coast Eagles players other than just pride?
Well, there's nothing wrong with fighting for pride, Jared, because that's what you play football for. I mean, pride in the jumper, pride in the club, pride for your teammate, pride in your own performance. That was one of the first halves of football that I've ever seen put up by a side.
No doubt.
Just no desperation.
If you question the individuals,
not getting to a contest,
question the individuals.
not running to help your teammate.
Are they proud? Are they individually proud?
Well, this is the first time I've seen the West Coast Eagles live this year, and I'm absolutely shocked. Because at the moment we can see them in a huddle there, they're having a bit of a chat, obviously just trying to gee themselves up. But there's Scotty Cummings. You've just got to make certain you run hard till you're exhausted, that you put your body on the line, you make it a contest, you bite, you scratch, you crawl, you do anything to make it a contest. And they haven't made a contest.
Big struggle there, Jared. Scott Cummings has had one kick,
yep,
one mark, one tackle, kicked it behind, and he's the one that's trying to stir them up to become a passionate lot.
Well, it'll be pretty hard on the forward line.
And pretty tough on their first year captain in Ben Cousins. He's just a kid basically.
Yes.
And he's in charge with leading this group of players. But let's go down to Robert Dipidomenico. Dipper, the worst ever loss by a West Coast Eagles outfit was 142 points in 1989. The bad news is that they're on target to break it.
Yeah, fair enough there, Jared. But there's also some good news. The rain's gone away there, guys. But if you have a look at the middle here, I mean, you've got Porter, Camporelli, Ratton and Koutafidis, and as you mentioned, Jerry, on the call, Koutafidis has only had 2 kicks, but what does Ken Judge do? Look, he's got to get his young brigade out there and say, look, learn about the game, stand this man. Look, if we get done by 200 points, at least they can pick up something. As you mentioned, KB,
bit of pride.
West Coast, pride, that's all it's about. But if you can just beat your man on man, we'll see how we go from there, boys.
Well, here's a concern because the Blues have gone straight into attack, inside 50. Whitnell's been a star. Just feeds the ball off to Favola, 35 metres out, and Silvani is appealing for the free kick. He'll get it behind.
If there's one kick that needs to be eradicated from the game of footy, it is that screw round the corner. It drops short so many times, it's inaccurate so many times. He had plenty of time just to kick a normal drop punt, which is about 90% more effective than that screw kick.
I think with the scoreboard the way it is, you can fall into a lull of
globe-trotting type
glare rising. And
Harlem Globetrotters, Robbo.
Instead of punishing the opposition, if you dominate, well, you make sure that you just bury them into the dirt. Houlihan, Hume, right in front of the Carlton goal. It's Michael Colliker with the football. He goes out in the direction of and finds Jakovic at right half back. 13-8, 86, 1-5-11. The Blues have added a behind. 52 minutes of football has transpired from the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. We've had a couple of minutes, so it'll be 54 minutes that the Eagles have been goalless. Right now, their captain in Ben Cousins delivers towards half forward. Good mark by Gardner.
He's had a crack.
I like his, Kevin, at least he's standing and he's trying as hard as he can to deliver. The kick goes to his opposite number in Porter on the defensive 50-metre line for the Blues. Handball away to Beaumont. He in turn to Massey. Massey looks, delivers out wide. Hume and Wirapunda. Wirapunda takes Hume down. Didn't quite think that was all fair and above board. Hand pass goes to Philip Matera, intercepting Houlihan. Braun is gone. Gang tackle. That's a great sign. Houlihan trying to get past. Got the handball in the direction of Ratton. Helping in support was Koutafidis. Over the top, Philip Matera, but the umpire will call for a bounce right on the sponsor's logo. The corporate sponsor, Carlton United, the logo where the football is being bounced right now.
Kevin, you said Gardner, he's having a crack. Are you suggesting that there's too many out there that aren't?
Well, he's having a real crack. He's putting himself on the line. He's contesting hard with Porter. I think some of his teammates can certainly take a leaf out of his book and just follow the example. Harding has the kick smothered. Rebounds. Harding to the half-forward line. Speak of the devil. Coming out hard is Massey. Porter tried hard to make the contest, and Massey just pumps the ball back towards the centre wing. Rolls it over the line for a toss back in front of Gaspar.
You got nothing to lose there with Chris Massey, but by gee, he showed a lot of determination there.
Troy Wilson there with Adam Hunter, Haynes and Andrew Embley sitting on the bench just pondering what's happening to the West Coast Eagles. Porter, it's a fresh air shot. Freeborn, under no pressure, pumps the ball back. Whitnell's going to be the target. He's already booted 3 goals, 1 in the first quarter, 2 in the second. Just tried to move the ball a little bit too quickly that time, and Phil Matera pumps the ball back. Gardner, he's got Porter the beat. Also, During kicked the goal late in that second term, and Koutafidis comes away out in front. A beautiful kick, and finds Hume. Just slides into the ball. 15 possessions to that young man on screen. And of course, Camporelli had it 23 times in the first half. Kicks a poor one, being taken by Merenda.
Now Merenda doesn't waste any time, gets the ball to Peter Matera, who spent a fair bit of the first half on the bench. His kick is good, and Gardner has marked on his chest away from Porter. Gardner would only be 20 to 25 metres out, and a slight angle. Michael Mansfield, Trent Houghton, Adrian Hickmott and Ange Christou warming the bench at the in the early minutes of the third quarter. 86 plays 11. Gardner going for the West Coast second goal, their first in something like 57 minutes of football. Fairly peaceful conditions prevailing here in Melbourne. Good kick by Michael Gardner, and he's kicked a goal for the Eagles. Long time coming, that second goal. Rowan Jones kicked their first. Michael Gardner has kicked their second. 13-8, 86 Carlton. 2-5-17 the West Coast.
And it came as a result of some pretty lacklustre slack play from the Blues, not hitting targets. And on the turnaround, they were good enough to set it up. Matera kicking long to Gardner, who's had a good start to this third term, to continue a pretty good game for the West Coast Eagles. Mansfield on for the Blues.
Michael Gardner, the Eagles' best player today. Porter just thumps the ball out of the centre square. Silvani was clever play. Mansfield's just come off the bench, runs into the open goal.
Never quite got balanced, Michael Mansfield.
Oh, it was good tackling too, put under pressure. That's
now,
what
Jared,
you've got to do.
Now, Jared, that bounce in the middle there was no favour at all for the West Coast Eagles then. It went all the way to the Porter and could have resulted in a goal then.
Yep.
Could have caught it back, I thought, the umpire.
Well, they don't like doing that, Heavenly Dipper, because it puts too much pressure on them.
Wirapunda. Just weighing up his options. Why not go to Gardner?
It's his 7th mark, Kevin.
Yes, 10 hit-outs and 11 possessions as well. Plus, he's just one of their 2 goal kickers today. Rowan Jones kicked a goal at the 7-minute mark of the second term, and Gardner has just kicked the second one for the Eagles. Pinpoints at the Brawn. Cross half back. No one really to kick it to. Now, this is a lucky kick. It just landed in the arms there of Harding. The run comes from Cousins. Drills it looking for Matera, who's gone down on a couple of occasions now. He slipped when the contest has been on, so he's got to just check his footing. Koutafidis just very casually just goes wide, finds Franchina from half back. Wirapunda didn't take it. This man can. Bradley belts the ball inside 50. Long arms of Whitnell went up at the back. Carroll goes short to Harding. And building the wall is Koutafidis. In fact, we just saw Bradley go down then too. Silvani, Favola, shares it with Silvani, 35 metres out. And he has missed.
Well, they've had a fair bit of the play, and all they've been able to manage is 3 behinds from 7 minutes of football in the 3rd quarter, the Blues. Again, dominating, going into their forward 50 in the early part of the term, 5 times to 3. The short kick has been marked by Houlihan. He could give it to During, no. Quickly onto him, Braun and Kerr. Football is with Ryan Houlihan.
The big danger, of course, is that when the scoreboard is so one-sided and the result is already known, that forwards tend to go for the exceptional shot at goal, and it can be a breakdown. He's just chipped this one to the top. It's a good pretty good selection of shots, I thought, Robbo, given that he was unlikely to kick a goal from just on the 50.
Great footballing family, aren't they? The Houlihans, Adam playing down at Geelong, and Damien, who had a couple of cracks at it.
Collingwood and North.
A little earlier, but this young fellow making a bit of a name for himself, for Ryan Houlihan here at Carlton.
He's a talent.
Short kick in has been marked by Harding. Go on, sorry, Jared.
Big raps from Greg Williams. Ryan Houlihan, he says he's got everything to be a 200-plus game player and one of the guns at Optus Oval for many years.
Porter playing in front. Penetrating kick. Houlihan, the crummer, kicks a goal.
Oh, I'm going to the races during the Spring Carnival with G. Healy if he could tip him like that, KB. Talk about him 1 minute, and up he bobs and kicks a goal.
Well, we've seen him right throughout this season. The last couple of seasons just display that he has got all the talent. He's got the work ethic too.
Gee whiz, there was a shove out there too. Yeah. Should have went to Carroll from Silvani.
Just needs a bit of bulk put on the frame at the moment. Good golfer too, Robbo.
And Houlihan, who's had it 9 times, just kicked his first goal. Trent Carroll should have got a free kick, a shove out there from Silvani. Yeah. So maybe a lucky one for the Blues. Look at Hume, he's been fantastic today. Just tackling the ball. Camporelli shares it with Bradley. The 2 playmakers. Was that a look-away handball? Magnificent play. Franchina drives the ball long.
Kevin, the hands of Koutafidis then, were they... That was the slipperiest thing I've seen. He had a fleeting second to get rid of it to, I think it was Ratton that he gave it to.
Ratton was there.
Ratton wasn't a bad handball either.
No, Franchina. Morrison just pumps the ball wide.
Nice kick.
Finds his target in Ben Cousins.
Cousins with the football away from Freeborn. Just outside his defensive 50 is Ben Cousins. 96 plays, 17. Blues in absolutely complete control of this game. Kerr, well, you could see there, he just hesitated. He had no confidence, so once he gathered the ball there, the young fellow, and eventually gang tackled and taken to the ground. Great signs for the Blues, just prepared to run to the contest in numbers and eliminate any doubt about whether they're going to gather the football. Kenny Judge, a little bemused and befuddled, I'm sure. 96 plays, 17. Michael Braun on screen. Scott Camporelli, 24 possessions to Camporelli. Bradley, 19. Whitnell, 15. Hume 16 on the other side of the ledger. Gardner 12, Morrison 13, Cousins 13, Greg Harding 11. But they really are trailing badly from a possessions point of view. Down the bottom, David Wirapunda has had 10 possessions.
And the man in white officiating today, Gavin Dorr, Michael Vozzo, and number 31 from the West. He's umpiring in his first game, and there he is on screen. Take us through the bounce, Robbo.
Bounce.
David Corcoran it was.
Blues by 79 points. Zering goes to ground. The Blues just pile on top.
Question is always asked Kevin about Carlton, you know, when Stephen Silvani is forced into retirement. The other one, Craig Bradley, we spoke about. Maybe they might be able to squeeze another year out of both of those players. But just what is coming through in the way of talent levels for Carlton. During looking all right.
Yes, you'll find a couple of young blokes. There he is, speaking of the devil on screen, number 46. Just showing a little bit today. They'll get their opportunities if you can just introduce them a bit at a time, and if you've got some good players around them at the same time, they can come in a winning frame of mind. They can learn to win. They can get the work ethic that the club has. Been a great club, Carlton. Always competitive. Porter and Gardner.
How's that tap out?
It's been a great contest. McKay on the charge. Look at this. Loose player. Franchina. Is that a smile on his face? He was grinning. High ball. Koutafidis gets back. Taken out of the contest. Colica paddling the ball long in front. McKay set it up there for Vola. Taken away by Gaspar. Rocking the ball wide. Good chance as Jakovic had to do a 360, and the run always comes from Cousins. This is where they're going to fall down badly.
This bloke's done a terrific job since coming in when Matthew Allen got hurt.
Well, he did that a couple of years ago also, didn't he? When
until he got hurt himself.
Got his opportunity. And don't forget Allen, he's back, he's off crutches, he had the stress fracture of the navicular, and he's back running this week.
Gaspar on the second grab.
Miranda coming off, and Emberley on.
Mark Miranda. Short from Gaspar, finds Wirapunda. Gets the call from Cousins. Into the pocket, Phil Matera. Make that Peter.
Yeah, he just slipped out the back, and you saw him slip over. His man, he may well have been chasing the footy rather than matching him up.
Well, their lowest score in AFL football is 112. That was against the Bombers in 89. So they've got 2-5-17. So any score will certainly, even if it's a point, will equal their lowest score in AFL football. There's a great camera shot. You can see just how tight it is for Peter Matera. But he's been a great goal kicker right throughout his career. Can he bend it back? He can't. 2-6-18 the West Coast. The Blues 14-12-96.
Hickmott, Mansfield and Favola. Brendan Favola having his chances there in the early part of the third term, not really capitalising. What's the umpire there signifying there?
Just going back to the Peter Matera, we had a great shot of his approach to goal. He's one of the great modern day players. And it's amazing how all of us through the ages have run in a crooked line to where we should be running to the goal. Peter McKenna, you see him, I'm not sure how you ran KB, but Peter McKenna used to run dead straight at where that ball wanted to go. There was no semblance of cutting across the body.
Hey, look at the huddle here, buddy.
It's keeping warm, Dipper.
Well, Camporelli will kick it in, and he will find a teammate. It was Beaumont, and he's been paid the mark. The Eagles player, Gardner and During having a dust up. Oh, Michael Gardner fancies himself. Now be careful, because he's going to get in trouble there. He delivered a blow, Michael Gardner. It was a glancing blow, but in doing so he did it right under the eye of Gavin Dorr. And Gavin Dorr has awarded the Blues a 50-metre penalty. And watch this just after this. Now watch Michael Gardner there, giving away 50 metres, and he's been taken off the ground. So Beaumont into the pocket, and a good diving mark by Stephen Silvani, 50 metres from goal. Not a lot that he can possibly... Yes, he can go short. He can find Lappin. Matthew Lappin yet to kick a goal in this Carlton scoreline of 14-12-96. West Coast 2-6-18.
Just hasn't really had much of the footy today. Greg Harding has been on him pretty closely.
Lappin from just inside 50. He's going to fix that. He's going to fix it by kicking a goal. Lappin's first goal. And the goal kickers for the Blues lining up in this massacre. Carlton 15-12, 102. And the Eagles way back on 2-6-18. So that margin now 84 points in favour of Carlton.
I remember a game, Kevin, you may be able to help me out with a year where the West Coast and Carlton in round 20 or 21. Yes, these sides have played some great games together. This isn't one of them, but I think it was it 85 when in round 20 or 21 West Coast and Carlton played off at Subiaco Oval in what was almost a grand final before the final series started. It was one of the great home and away games I've ever seen. In fact, it was 1995, not 1985. And it just doesn't appear that long ago. I know it's 7 years, but all of a sudden you've got one club still at the top and the other one very much at the bottom rebuilding.
Well, they come forward, and this is what we see in all contests. You see Wirrapunda, he's got 2 to beat. There's always 2, 3, 4 Carlton players together. They're really hunting packs. Their confidence is high. Kerr keeps the ball live. Good presence of mind to Morrison. Look at that desperation. But taken away by Braun. He'll go wide. He'll find Jakovic, who can run. Cummings was on a lead. Matera says kick it to the square. He's got him in his sights, but he is 2 against 1. And that's what we see in every contest.
Well, it's just beaten that worst ever score.
Yeah, so there's a bonus. Their highest losing total to Carlton is 87 points.
How would you like to analyse Glenn Jakovic right now in his career?
In what way?
Does he get many contested balls now?
As Kerr just kicks the ball back towards centre half forward, and there he is, Gardner. Gee whiz, he's been fantastic. He's been fantastic.
Well, he's the future of the club, along with a number of other obvious ones like Ben Cousins and Braun and Wirrapunda.
Back edge of the centre square. Deep into the forward line. Chance now. Matera feeds the ball off. Quick snap by Fletcher. It's kicked a goal. So
well,
he kicks his first.
I think what we're seeing, Kevin, is one of the, I think, basic facts of footy. You've got to put players can kick goals around the goals. No point having them on the half-back line if you've got nobody up there. If you've got other blokes who can kick goals up around there, then that's fine. Put your playmakers across half-back line. But you do get opportunities, even the bottom sides go into the forward line pretty often. If you've got blokes up there that can kick them, they will.
77 points is the margin. Cousins and Bradley. Now, umpires found a free kick. It may go to Cousins. And he could have been held onto there a little long in that contest. Goes out wide. Whitnell couldn't take the mark. Carroll was there. Whitnell able to recover his position and then gather and kick it down towards the half-forward area where Hickmott has taken the mark. Blues in total inside their forward 50, 48-22. And gathered there by Ratton. Clever kick, wasn't it? He just threw it on his boot, kept the Curry low to the ground, and Lappin was there to mark on his chest only 30 metres out, 35 metres out, slight angle.
He's done a good job, Greg Harding. This was a smart kick. I think you've got to give him credit for that one. Tough for Harding, though. That was impossible to stop.
Porter it is coming off the ground, and the supporters very much in appreciation of Mark Porter's efforts. It's been mentioned on many occasions that a lot rests on his shoulders with Matthew Allen out injured. We're watching Matthew Lappin go for goal, and he looks as if he's missed. 1 goal, 1 to the credit of M. Lappin.
Scotty Cummings off.
Scotty Cummings, thanks Dipper, taking his place on the interchange bench, but we're sadists, aren't we? We go on the face of the coach in the coach's box when his team 3-7-25 trail the opposition 15-13, 103.
Carroll from the back pocket kicks a very high ball, and a Whitnell.
Robbo, if you took the best 8 players out of any side, not saying that Eagles have lost their best 8, but they've certainly lost about 8 top players that will be playing their starting lineup. Most clubs would be.
Now the ball is coming back. There's been a free kick
off the ball.
So the ball is going to come closer to goal where the kick was being taken by the Eagles. So another chance for the Blues. We didn't quite see that because it was off the ball, but the umpire indicated it happened around about 65, 70 metres out from goal. Brings the ball back. So Lappin, take 2. Poor kick, but it floats through because no one was on the goal line.
Gone through 4 foot high.
Well, there's one of the sins in football. You always get back, get your tallest players back, get them standing on the goal line. At least they've got to kick it over your head.
Yeah, that was unforgivable. This was a shocking kick. He's actually kicked some good ones and they haven't gone through. But this was a helicopter mongrel punt. And Chad Morrison goes weak at the knees because of it.
And those players, Gerard, you mentioned Kemp, McIntosh, I mean, he's sorely missed on the back line. And Serakowski, who was a recruit, and he would have played a beautiful centre forward, and unfortunately hurt himself in the first game.
Yep.
Blues by 84 points. Ball from Gaspar. Koutafidis to Bradley. It was a wild handball, but still got the numbers. McKay runs hard, so does Houlihan. Houghton involved as well. It was a look-away handball. They must be shocked because there was no Carlton player there. Cousins goes wide. Grabbed by Colliger. He's done a fair job playing on Koutafidis.
Yep.
Kouta today, just 11 possessions and the 1 goal. And when you consider the dominance of the Blues, Embley will be shooting from 55. Phil Matera's in the square. Getting back is Gardner. Give a bit of height. Embley from 55. Chance for the high flyers. Houghton got his hands on the ball and was run through by Mansfield.
You know, when you speak about injuries, the Blues would be fairly pleased with their situation, I think. Just looking at their list, only Matthew Allen.
And Wirraponda's in trouble as you speak. Robbo, he's limping. He's in the middle of the ground now.
Okay, thanks, Dipper. But the Blues got pretty well a full list to pick their team from. Beaumont kicks it forward. Knocked to the base of the pack. Hume should go for goal. He's kicked it in the direction of Wirrapunda, and Freeborn Wirrapunda to take it through for a rush behind when Hume could have nearly had a shot from about 50 because the goal square was back there unattended. 16-14, 110. 84 points the margin in favour of the Blues. Morrison accepts the kick in and goes close to the boundary line where Braun has it. Braun to kick it down towards the wing, and he may cough it up here because Beaumont is back there, gathers close to the line, keeps it in, and then kicks it in towards half forward. The sun right in the face of the eyes of the players. Ratton gathers. Bradley can go short. He won't do that though. He'll go long to the goal square. Silvani and Carroll. Ball bounces and bounces away there from Carroll.
Well, they're all just having a ping now, the Blues. Bradley ignored the Whitnell short chip kick, and we saw the result. Interesting, the comparison between these two clubs in context of the comments you made, Kevin, about the jumpers. I just ask you, Robbo, what the Blues former players would do if they changed the jumper to a premiership jumper to such an extent as the West Coast Eagles have.
Well, they're fairly new in the competition, I guess, the Eagles, but for the life of me, I suppose it's got to be to do with merchandising and, you know, the more jumpers they've got for the young kids to buy. But it is amazing. That,
we'll use that during the Ansett Cup if you want to. You can change any jumper you like. But they've won premierships. You see the famous photographs and standing up there at the MCG with the Premiership Cup.
I reckon they've
got to have some tradition with your jumper.
I reckon there'd be a riot if they tried to change the navy blue. And for years they resisted any advertising on it. Ian Collins said it was the sacred symbol of the club. They have. I guess, conceded some ground with a small main sticker there, but wouldn't even possibly dream about changing it for a season. They did it once for the M&M jumper, that's right. I don't think they'd do it again after that experience.
And it was still a blue jumper.
It was. Very ordinary blue.
Yes,
But very funny blue, wasn't it? 16-14 to 3-8. Carlton still very much in control here. They lead by 84 points.
Boundary thrown on the half-forward line for the Blues. Bradley. First he just shoveled the ball out. He's had it 22 times in 5 marks. Boundary throw in on centre wing.
They've kicked 3 goals, 7 so far in this term, the Blues, and the Eagles have kicked 2 goals, 3.
So just over a minute left in this third quarter. Mansfield. Some cameo appearances off the bench. Whitnell shove out.
Big push out for Red.
Harding all tied up. Hume dragged to the ground that time by Cousins. Jakovic tried to crash his way through. Cousins ran hard, made it a second effort. Colica conceding ground. They backtrack, and finally they sidetrack it over the line.
There's a blue backfoot between Freeborn, Hume, and Jakovic.
Whereupon they're coming off, boy, doesn't look good here. Looks like an ankle injury.
Colica, the flyer.
Still waiting on that
ground
rain
level. Now the whistle has gone. It's a free kick and it's going to Carlton.
It's been great skills. Sorry, Kevin, displayed by the players, given the torrential rain that's fallen here.
Oh, just having a go at me, aren't you? Just tell the folks at home, rain did fall.
I didn't see it.
Koutafidis, he's got Massey in his sights. Jakovic.
Carroll's been all right too in defence.
Just belts the ball back, so the race is on. The pace of Matera. Couldn't quite get there, didn't quite get the bounce he wanted. Still had 2 to beat as the siren sounds to end the third quarter. And the Blues 16-14, 110 to the West Coast, 3-8-26. So that's an 84-point lead to Carlton. And their main goal kickers, 3 to Simon Beaumont, 3 to Whitnell. And for the West Coast, singles to Gardner, Fletcher and Jones. 110 plays 26.
C7's telecast of the 2001 AFL Premiership season proudly brought to you by Harvey Norman. There's a store near you. And the Nissan Challenge.
The Citibank MasterCard Cup, club rugby action on C7 Sport.
That is great work.
It's one of the oldest club rugby competitions in the world. 12 teams putting it all on the line for the pride of their club.
Here comes another one.
Catch round 11 action with the clash between the Warringah Rats and Eastern Suburbs.
What a run.
The skills, the speed of fast, open running rugby. The Citibank MasterCard Cup, live Saturday afternoon on C7 Sport.
John Brown, security guard extraordinaire.
I'll just stay here then and secure the parking lot.
A dedicated rent-a-car who's had himself a little accident.
We have the technology. We can rebuild him.
I'm not me anymore. I'm a hardware store.
Now, he's a fighter for justice and a doer of good.
It's just like that $6 million man.
But behind every superhero, there's a super villain.
It's got a sort of postmodern Captain Hook kind of feel to it.
Let's see what you can do, Gadgetmobile. Because I feel the need for speed.
Rupert Everett.
Good morning, Robo-Gadget. What are you going to do now?
I'm gonna kick some butt.
Very saucy.
And Matthew Broderick as Inspector Gadget.
You know what they say about nice guys finishing last? Huh? Well, they were wrong.
Now showing on Movie 1.
The Nissan Challenge is on again. We challenge you to find a car with more features than a Nissan Pulsar for just $19,990. We challenge you to find one with air conditioning, CD player, driver's side airbag, and keyless entry. And we challenge you to get it for just $19,990. The Nissan Challenge. Take it up at your Nissan dealer now.
Two-wheel thunder. the World Speedway Grand Prix.
Something could happen here.
Catch the 2001 British Grand Prix with the world's best riders.
Oh, he's down. He's down.
500cc power, over 150 k's an hour, no brakes.
They are going for it.
We head to the Millennium Stadium in Wales for the second Speedway Grand Prix Series event for 2001. The British Grand Prix, live Sunday morning on C7 Sport.
19,759 people is the official attendance record here at Optus Oval that sees Carlton 16-14, 110 well in control of this match. The West Coast 3-8-26 down on the boundary line, the Big Dipper.
Yeah, thanks very much with Ross, your line here now. Ross, you're on top of it up to half-time. What do you make of that quarter then?
Yeah, well, look, at half-time, Judges always going to probably get into, they're a young group. You'll give them, probably goal, try and win the quarter. So they come out and close it up a little bit. Well, reasonably inaccurate. I think we kicked 3-7 to 2-3 or something. So still had opportunities, but to their credit, they fought back. Jones on Cambriel sort of tightened up a little bit and helped keep them in the game.
Are you happy with some of the form of your players?
Yeah, look, it started to open up. Everyone started to get ball, but early when the game was up for grabs, we thought we were pretty hard at it. Sort of won the ground ball contest, and then our use on that was pretty good. We just started to, as you'd expect, with that sort of lead, overuse it a little bit. We just need to go into the forwards in one-on-one situations.
And the message from Wayne Britton there, what would that be now?
Yeah, the question is how good are we? You just need that kill instinct, try and find it, and try and sort of put a team right away.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Tipper.
Well, if they do that, they may be challenging for one of the spots on this table, Carlton's greatest winning margins. Robbo, you may well have played in one of those. St Kilda is the top in 1985 at 140 points. Way back to 1969 when the Blues beat Hawthorn by 128 points. And, of course, historians will tell you, KB, that Ian Robertson kicked the 30th goal that afternoon.
You impressed with that, Kevin?
Well
Come
done.
on.
Well done.
Oh, good stuff,
And
Kevin.
unfortunately, the bad news is that the West Coast, we're putting up their greatest losing margins. As we said earlier, 142 points against Essendon in 89. But their deficit so far is 84 points, so they are challenging the 91 points versus Hawthorn in 1989. Both sides are out on the ground as we kick off for the final quarter.
Yes, well, pride at stake now for the West Coast Eagles. They're way behind on that scoreboard, and the individual stats would be very much in favour of the Blues. But the early part of this term from the centre bounce breakaway is promising. And eventually Gardner should kick a goal. Michael Gardner standing, delivering, and kicks are behind.
Interesting to see that Ross Lyon, the way he said that Wayne Britton asked his players, how good are we? I mean, if you match some of the sides against Essendon, I think Carlton is a side who can certainly beat Essendon in a very tight game, I think.
Camporelli's short kick is all right, and During is marked at centre-half back, plays on and then kicks back towards the middle of the ground. Oh, good reach there by Hickmott to Kutafides out wide Franchina. He'll be looking to get a little bit of a use of the football, you would think, in this last term. He's always given a defensive job in the make-up of the Carlton lineup. On that occasion, his kick has fallen into the arms of Brendan Favola. Franchina, 8 possessions, has kicked it behind. But, maybe with a little freer running roll, could get a few more added stats in this last term.
Peter Dean, runner number 5, one of the former greats of the club.
Yes, if the players wearing the Carlton Guernsey showed the determination that Peter Dean showed in all of his games for the football club, you wouldn't desire of anything as far as an effort is concerned, I'm sure. That kick, there's Peter Dean there now. That kick coming from Favola registers a behind. He has kicked 3 behinds in his playing time this afternoon. Morrison to kick in and comes to the near side where Porter will fly high and get a good punch away to Ratton. Ratton to the front of the goal square. Gee, they've got the numbers here at the back of the pack, and eventually Trent Carroll forces a rush behind to the Blues.
What about the superb ball control there of Brett Ratton? Roving that big punch back, hands were crisp and set up another attack on the goal.
Chris Massey and Craig Bradley we just had a shot of. Williams from the back pocket. And Houghton in front.
Kutafides.
Hume just chipped in, was quick. Just weighing up his options. Favola's going to be a target, and he's got it.
Well, his kicking is a facet of his game that he's got to get better at. Last year, a close look at him on a number of occasions, and he's just not as accurate as a man that is going to make his profession out of goal kicking should be. And this is one you just should go back right down as a goal.
Well, just have a look at the crowd behind the goals, because they will tell the story if Brendan Favola kicks this goal in the Robert Heatley stand. Straight through the centre.
You hedged your bets a bit there, Kevin.
Well,
I don't think those fans got up in the air, did they?
They went up in the air.
Were you absolutely certain that was a goal?
Yes, of course.
Were you?
Have a look at the kick, though.
It wasn't very convincing.
Mate, well, they've gone up that many times today. They're exhausted. They can't lift their arms in the air anymore.
It does wobble a bit, this one.
Well, it didn't look too convincing.
Look at that. Look at the claps.
You take them, though.
Well, the 17th goal on the scoreboard there for the Blues, and the margin now out to, 91 points, and it'll be further because they'll go forward a game. This bloke will nearly finish it himself. Camporelli to the goal square, it'll roll through. It won't roll through, it'll carry the goal line. 20 goals now, 18 for Carlton now. Camporelli's first goal.
And that is one of the great kicks on display in the competition. There'd be few better kicks in the competition than this bloke, Camporelli, and he stands as one of the top quality midfielders of the competition. He's right up there with the superstars. He gives every week, even when he's down. The level of his performance is still very much a worthwhile contribution.
Gee, just from 2 strides, Kevin, 50 metres, he kicked the goal, didn't he?
And on the turn as well.
Yeah.
Just sort of twisted his body, hit 50, banged it through. 18-16, the Blues 124, the West Coast 3-9, 27. Koutafidis to Beaumont, having a great season in front. He was looking for Whitnell. He's already booted 3 goals. Lappin. Houlihan on the burst. It's caught.
Oh, should have been a free kick. He was slung into the fence.
McKay. Now, the whistle has gone, and he is coming back.
I think the umpire at the far end of the ground played it.
Ryan Houlihan, too far out to score. Favola's on a lead in front. He's got good hands. What say we have another look at this crowd behind the goals when he has a shot here, Robbo? It just might have got a bit of energy over the last 2 or 3 minutes. Can't even be bothered getting out of their seats now.
I think the most important thing, I mean, we look at how the West Coast can play for pride, but from a Carlton point of view, like Ross Lyons said, you've got to bury the opposition, and when you hold the ascendancy like this, go on with it.
Well, he's been at 1 goal 3. He's now got 1-4.
Brendan Favola, that's their 17th behind. 98 points is the margin. We looked at Carlton's greatest winning margins in the competition at 3/4 time. We looked at the Eagles' greatest losing margins, and there were some big scores on both sides of the ledger. Gardner, who has not stopped having a bit of a dip for the Eagles right from the start, coming up for his 16th possession, 9th mark, 13 hit-outs, and he's kicked a goal. The ball is on centre wing. Carroll, hand pass towards the middle, gathered there for the Eagles by Haynes, in towards half forward, but the mark taken by Lappin, who only a few moments ago was attempting to kick a goal. Now he's being called to play on, you would think, into the middle. Mansfield sharing it with Ratton. Ratton, on this occasion, a rare error from the boot there of Brett Ratton. By hand or by foot, he is fairly reliable to hit a target. Very much a playmaker in the middle of the ground for the Blues. Kick out wide. That looked just, well, it was classy stuff, wasn't it, from Ryan Houlihan. I shouldn't sound surprised because you've got the rap on Injurit from your mate Greg Williams, and in the finish he delivered with the left to full forward now. Camporelli, Koutafidis. Still Camporelli's got the football, can't get rid of it. Rowan Jones, the tackler.
Robbo, you explained why the Blues are wearing black armbands, but what about the West Coast Eagles?
Well, I think Dipper established that Scott Cummings has had a bereavement in his family. It may have been his grandmother from
Yeah, spot on, Robbo's grandmother.
Well, that's a little bit of bad luck too. So some sadness in both camps here today. The ball has been coughed up, and it looks like Koutafidis, was it, that had a flying shot at goal and just missed. 1-2 from the boot of Koutafidis today. 17 possessions, and Mark Miranda preparing to have another go at it.
Morrison has got it. 14 minutes left in this game. Lead by 126-27. Koutafidis intercepted by Houlihan. He read it well.
There's something that
off a boot.
Kevin, sorry for interrupting there. I'd like to go on record here as saying that from well before I started playing football here at Carlton in 1966, they've had a wonderful defence. And in this game, you can see that their defence has been able to restrict the Eagles to just 3-9.
Mansfield to Porter. Favola again. He's marking everything that's coming his way in this last quarter. Just got to get his kicking boot on. 6 marks to Brendan Favola, but he's kicked 1-4. Good body work also by Lance Whitnell. Favola from 40 metres out. That looks better. Look at that, he just wipes the brow. And at last.
A little bit of talent on screen there, Kevin.
Yeah, Silvani and Bradley just having a bit of a breather. I like the way he just wiped the brow after this, Gerard.
He's looking for a Brill Cream sponsorship. But
Porter.
Ryan Houlihan has been an outstanding player this quarter. He's won the ball back for them a number of times.
Well, Favola, the goal kicker, he's kicked a couple. Carlton 1918, 132. The Eagles 39-27. Jones to kick it across the centre of the ground where Braun will take possession, look down the field and try to kick it to the advantage of a teammate. Into the pocket, Massey from behind, big punch away from Cousins.
I reckon there's some positive signs at both ends of the ground for the Blues in the development of a few younger players that have both got talent in Favola and Massey. We know with the footy they can do some good things. Massey, though, is starting to put more good quarters together in a match, and Favola, he's winning the ball very well, just needs to straighten up that kicking.
Well, During was in the action there, and now the kick from Cousins, not marked by Gardner. Awkward bouncing ball, coming away with it, Houghton to the playmaker Camporelli, to Lappin, into the path back of Houghton. Hand pass wider still, held onto it just long enough for Ratton, and Ratton, that's what I'm talking about. With his vision, his preparedness to give off, and certainly to the advantage, Favola has marked. It's his 4th mark so far in this last term.
There was a lack of pressure also, though, Robbo. How Houghton could dance and do a 360 and still lay the ball off without being smashed or crunched or whatever word you'd like to use indicates a lack of pressure.
Favola, he's got his kicking boot on now. He's got 3. Quite embarrassing if you are watching this as an Eagles supporter, because it all looks too simple from Carlton's point of view.
Here it is, this passage of play. What's this one? Outstretched hands, it's not how you tackle. Got to get the shoulder and the bulk of the body in behind it.
7 marks. 7 marks to Brendan Favola, 3-4. And the West Coast lowest score against Carlton is 5-11-41. That's back in 1989. Biggest defeat, 142 points. They're down 111.
That's right.
Matera to 50. Franchina, the chaser, through for a behind.
Let's hope that this
looks
is,
on.
let's just hope, Kevin, it is a injury that he can get over during the week, because the Eagles just can't afford to have another one of their best players missing next weekend.
Camporelli has had it 27 times today. The Blues have shared it around 20 times to Whitnell, 17 to McKay, 17 to Beaumont, 19 to Koutafidis. Mansfield goes wide. Matera looking for a loose player. Finds it in Gaspar. Looks athletic, good size. Just needs some games. 3 against 1. That's a pretty tough task for even Peter Matera. Hickmott, short kick, Lappin. Now you see him, now you don't. Through the centre square. Whitnell's the target. Jakovic closed quickly. Carroll is going to be run down by Favola. And also Ratton. Colica bangs the ball back. Houghton on the stretch. Franchina tried to shovel the ball out. Hands and knees. Fletcher. Colica goes wide inside the centre square and finds Bruin. Haynes, young man playing his first game, finds Philip Matera. Too far out to score. Gaspar wants it short. And Hunter wants it long. Hunter's the target. Getting back was During. Miranda has pinched it. Should kick a goal. Hits the post. And then kicks the ball.
And gives away a 50-metre penalty.
Yes, he'll give away 50 for that. Just in his frustration, he kicks the ball, which you're not allowed to do after it bounces off the goal post. So that will cost a 50-metre penalty.
There was a time in footy where this was a report and you could get fined, I think, $1,500 or thereabouts for wasting time. In their wisdom, they've changed that and just give you a 50-metre penalty.
While there's a little lull here, right now Carlton have improved their percentage from 117 to 131. How important would that be, do you think, towards the end of the season when positions in the 8 are jostled for?
Well, it's always good to have a good percentage, isn't it? Koutafidis! Kouta on the stretch. He's just glided around the ground today, hasn't he?
Little cameo.
Little cameo today.
Yes. I'm here, folks.
He's had it 20 times. It hasn't been a stellar Koutafidis
you're
today.
right there, Kevin.
But he's just glided around the ground and just flexed his muscles every now and then.
Tell you what, I would have been happy to have legs that thick. Look at those arms.
Directly in front. The pride of Carlton. Koutafidis leans back, pushes it left.
1-3 to Koutafidis. Leading goal kickers for the Blues, Whitnell, Favola and Simon Beaumont have kicked 3 each. West Coast Eagles, Gardner, Fletcher and Rowan Jones are the goal kickers. So that's 139 to 29, 110 points the lead. The short kick in has been marked by Morrison. He's in the right back pocket area. Still very much inside his defensive 50 and well, Gardner may be his target if he'd like to go short, but surely the umpire has got to ask him to move the ball on now. He goes very short. The mark is taken there by Embley. Embley in turn just gets out inside his defensive 50 and gets it to Fletcher. Fletcher into the middle, and that's a mark to Porter. It'll go back to the Carlton big man who quickly gets it off to Lappin. Just not able to find any space there. Back to During. During over the top to the experienced campaigner in McKay. McKay out wide, Mansfield.
This is some good run from the defence of Carlton. They're not getting a kick in their own defensive area. So as soon as they win the ball across the middle, they are just charging into their forward line. And that time was a contest between Chris Massey and Mansfield as to who was going to get on to the end of it.
McKay 18 possessions. But we're watching Mansfield, who has been a bench warmer for a reasonable amount of time. Kicks across the fake. Spectacular leap by Lappin. Looking for a mark of the year again there, Matthew Lappin. Back into the action. And he's disappointed. He thought he had it. Look at the look on his face. That was mine for everyone to see.
There was a car riding on that. He got up there halfway and he slipped on the clutch.
Well, I reckon Peter Bazzusto won a mark of the year and probably took a mark in that pocket, yeah. Haynes, handball along the line, just away from Darren Hume, and the boundary umpire will throw it in. Darren Hume, 20 possessions, a couple of goals. Scott Freeborn, rather, having a spell on the bench. 139 to 129, Carlton by 110.
This time, Haynes couldn't take it. Ratton can, high ball to the square. Favola looks dangerous. He's taken 7 marks. He's booted 3 goals, punched through for a behind. All of Favola's goals coming in this last term. Murapunda looks on, went off injured in the 3rd term. Limping. So it could be an ankle, could be a calf. Embley to bring the ball back for the West Coast. Pinpoints it to Jakovic. 5 marks and 14 possessions. To the big man. Best and fairest winner last year. I think it's 4 times he's won the Eagles best and fairest. He's been a fantastic player. Kicks the ball long to Porter. And even Gardner from behind on the stretch couldn't take it. 6 marks to Porter today for the Blues. There's a shove out. Not paid to Favola. He looks on. Phil Matera. Is he going to take him on? Miranda. During. Made it a contest. Beaumont, Francina. Burrows in after the ball. Pushing off the man. That time was Beaumont. Kerr caught by 2 Carlton players. And that's been the picture we've seen all day.
Well, that's good too, isn't it? I mean, you can see the scoreboard very lopsided, but they're still having a bit of a dip at it. That was young During and Anthony Francina, the tacklers on the Eagles player in the middle of the ground.
20-21-40 the Blues. The West Coast 3-11-29. Still inside the centre square. Porter has been their best player today.
Should have got reported, that player. Hit the umpire, because the umpire couldn't get out of the road, of course.
Ratton goes wide, they'll set it up. They'll find Lappin, the juggler.
Well, if we get a chance to have another look at this, it's another instance where the umpire has well, you can't say he's in the road and you can't say the player is infringing, but the ball is with Matthew Lappin here.
Well, there doesn't have to be a free kick or a report if a player and an umpire make contact. It's up to the discretion of the umpire. Lappin right to the line. Houlihan hit the pack hard. Ratton the tackler. Now he wants the free and someone's going to get it, and he's going to get it. He was on top of 3 Eagles players. Let's have a look at this. There was 3 Eagle players there, and Ratton's come over the top and kicks a goal. ...12 individual goal kickers for Carlton today. Under 5 minutes left in this last quarter. Now, let's have a look at this. One Eagle player, 2 Eagle players, 3 Eagle players, and Ratton there falls on top and says, well, there's no attempt.
Spot on. Is it good decision? Carlton need 2 more goals for this to become their 3rd highest ever victory. Already knocked off your target, Robbo. You're off the record books.
Yeah, dude. Good luck to them, son.
Well, the West Coast have beaten the Little League today. They kicked 4-1-25. West Coast, of course, 3-11-29. So they've outscored the Little League by 4 points.
We did say we were going to look for a positive.
Certain amount of cynicism.
Well, the positive is the Little League.
I think you might be going a shade too far, QB.
I think when you came to the ground that this was going to be the fear, wasn't it? That the Blues' form was pretty good, the Eagles leading into it just struggling. And of course Carlton, an unchanged side from their team that beat North Melbourne, the Kangaroos, last week.
Oh, missed it.
And Whitnell dropping the mark. I'm sure he had that spent. And before he gathered, he's looking for the free kick. Kerr, Cousins, tackled but got the hand pass away to Jones. Jones kicks it out wide. During. Attempted punch away there from Miranda. And Mark Miranda, well, the young bloke there doing it do well, and he did, to force a boundary throw in. He was out of position for much of the journey there.
Good size, Robbo.
He is, isn't he? And looks quite capable. Just ground time, I'm sure, encourages the confidence of the younger player when he comes into this caper. Porter, an example of that, getting more and more of it with the absence of Matthew Allen. McKay kicks it forward. Good kick too. And good hands for Bowler.
Is that a good last quarter leading out? He must have taken 5 marks this quarter.
7 marks.
7 marks. 1 grabbers, most of them. He's kicked 3 goals too.
Well, it's Brendan Favola wearing a number very famous here at Optus Oval. Alex Jezelenko wore number 25.
But you're going to say Frank Marcazzani.
And Brendan Favola has missed again. So maybe Jezza might come back and try and teach this young fella a little bit about kicking for goal. He's played a tremendous last term. 3 goals, 5 against his name. The Blues 147 lead the Eagles 29.
Fletcher. And the West Coast Eagles just have been out of this contest since the 7-minute mark of the first quarter when they kicked their first goal, and then they really did struggle. From that point on, it's just been one-way traffic. Beaumont tries a long handball, doesn't come off. Boundary throw-in on centre wing. Ken Judge and Robert Wiley in the coach's box. Guy McKenna in the background. Some talk that Guy McKenna might make a comeback next year. Kerr sweeped his way through to Braun, who drives the ball towards 50, and it's been taken by Troy Wilson, who started the game on the forward line with Scott Cummings as twin forwards, but spent a lot of time on the bench, and there's a good grab. That's been taken by Williams. Yet to register a score today. Opportunity for the young man to kick a goal. Directly in front. He will shoot from 45 metres. Didn't quite make the distance. Touched.
Right on the line. It looked as if Troy Wilson could have just about snaffled that one.
Bradley just runs away, goes short. Mansfield's enjoyed a good time on the ground after starting on the bench. He's had a lot of the ball. 13 times and 7 marks. During feeds the ball off to Beaumont. That beautiful left foot, quick through the air. Finds Houlihan. The run comes from Ratton. The player in front is Whitnell, playing in front of Jakovic. It would be a nightmare playing in defence today for the West Coast Eagles. And Whitnell decides to lean back, unloads, gives it both barrels, goes all the way and hits the post.
He's had a big last quarter, has Brett Ratton. Struggled early. Was very closely guarded. Got his fair share of handballs away, but this quarter he's had 7 kicks and 3 handballs.
So it was take 2. Williams.
A player who just a few moments ago had a shot at goal for the Eagles, now right in the defensive last line. Oh, good mark to Whitnell. 50 metres from goal.
And look at the way they're setting up. Everybody out of the square. The whole square is open, and that allows one player to run into the open space.
And it's Michael Mansfield. Eking out extra games in the AFL, Michael Mansfield, after crossing from Geelong.
Last time he had a shot at goal, he ran on an angle that would see him almost run straight at the player on the mark. Let's have a look now. Out he goes again. Obviously trying to open up the angle and then hooks it badly.
Lucky to score a behind. There's the siren, folks. So the happy people here at Optus Oval are the Carlton supporters because right from the start of the match they controlled this game. They led 6-2-38 to 1-2-8 at quarter time and extended at every break to win the game by 119 points. Carlton 21 goals, 23, 149. The West Coast 3-12-30. And the leading goal kickers were Beaumont, Favola and Whitnell with 3 each. And the Eagles very quickly a goal each to Gardner, Fletcher and Jones.
Well, it ended up being the 6th ever greatest winning margin for the Blues, and down on the boundary line, Dipper has one of the combatants.
Yeah, certainly do, Gerard and Scotty Camporelli. Well, terrific win by the boys. Are you happy with that margin at the end?
Oh, it's fantastic. We're 1-4 on the trot now, which puts us in a good spot, and a better percentage today always helps, at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's the most important part about it. Keep winning on end because 4 on end, a terrific challenge by the boys.
Yeah, it was. We knew West Coast were going to give us a fair crack today, and after last week's effort, the first half we really wanted to get off to a good start, and we did that today, and it's great.
And these sort of games, you just got to go through the processes of quarter by quarter and try to, get a few kicks and fill those boots when you can.
Yeah, that's true. Some days are easy and others differ, but it was a good day today for everyone all around.
Well, thanks for catching up with us, Scotty. Well played.
Thanks, mate.
Scott Camporelli there with the Big Dipper. Camporelli had 12 possessions in the first quarter, 11 in the second quarter, 2 in the third. He had a bit of a holiday, and 4 after in the fourth quarter as Glenn Manton gets cheered from the ground. He's made a name for himself and a home here at the land of the Blues, Robbo.
Yeah, I think he's to be congratulated, and there's Lance Whitnell and Trent Houghton doing the honours, and I guess it's nice, Gerard, when you reach a milestone that you can come off as a winner, and they did that in magnificent fashion. He's appreciating the applause of the fans, but to win the game was the #1 priority for the Blues, and to win the game in such emphatic fashion where they improved their percentage from today, 117%, right now 132.
Yes, it was an incredible win, just 1 point less than 20 goals. When you put it in the 20-goal category, it just reinforces what a thorough belting it was. And, well, the West Coast, they came into this match with many of their better players missing through injury. It was always going to be a struggle for them. And they haven't gained a lot out of this match. They've got some experience for some of their younger players, but they're going to have to go home, lick their wounds, get themselves back together, get the spirit running high again, get some enthusiasm going, and see what they can muster out for the rest of this season as we approach the halfway mark next week.
Well, the traditions there, in those rooms, there's been some magnificent players and some fantastic administrators and, people at committee level that have gone through those rooms, and those boys know all that, and we followed in number 3, Chris Massey, and number 33, Ryan Houlihan, and they'll play some footy for the Blues.